at Heavenly Gate Mountain, within the radiant jade mine, a place riddled with magical barriers, the night scenery was breathtaking. Suddenly, a slightly urgent voice echoed, "Where's that little snake demon hiding?" The voice was followed by the sound of hurried footsteps. It turned out to be Ning Ning, seemingly pursued by someone. They shouted, "The jade mine is a place for demons. It's surrounded by barriers. The 8 mechanisms must be opened simultaneously to pass through." Ning Ning quickly hid behind a large rock, covering her mouth, not daring to make sound. She silently observed her pursuers. One of them yelled, "Demons are purely entities. You can't leave this place with mere human strength. Give up now, and your punishment will be lighter." Having run at full speed, Ning Ning gasped for breath as soon as she had a moment to rest. She clutched a strange, unidentified egg in her arms. She then rushed towards a glowing doorway marked with the yin and yang symbol. "Found it," she whispered. Reaching the door, she placed her hand on it, thinking, "I overheard those immortal sect disciples guarding the demons. They said pure yang qi can be used to get out. That's why I brought this here." She stared at the egg, voicing her reasoning. "Maybe I can use this little bastard." Gambling her life on this slim chance, she gently kissed the egg. As if in answer, the egg glowed, radiating power, surprising even her. Looking at the barrier created by the egg, she mused, "I'm a demon, a purely yin being. But if I can absorb pure yang qi, the mechanism should react the same way." The door opened as she'd hoped. It worked. She cheered. "This dragon egg is amazing. With it clearing the way, I can finally escape this wretched place." But as she stepped through, she was met with a daunting sight. Countless barriers remained. "No way. There's still more mechanisms. How many layers are there?" She groaned, realizing the true extent of the mine's security. "I really want to cry." She wailed. "To get out of here, I have to keep kissing this little bastard." Finally, after struggling through the complex mechanisms, she emerged, letting out a satisfied sigh. Finally, even the air smells like freedom. Her joy was short-lived. Something felt wrong. This smell, it's like sulfur. She looked down at the edge of the cliff. It was molten lava. Panicked, she lost her footing and tumbled forward with a scream. Even as she fell, her mind wandered. The 8 directional barriers only have one safe exit. I must have taken a wrong path. Then, the reality of her impending fiery demise hit her. Talk about unnecessary service. Cremation delivery, right to my doorstep. These immortal sect people are so thoughtful, she thought sarcastically. I'm so dead. She lamented her bad luck. To think I just transmigrated and I'm about to die. Rewind time. Yes, half a month ago, I transmigrated into a book called I Hatched the Enemy. In the book, the original owner of this body was a snake demon for defying fate and slaying the 9 heavens. After battling the dragon god, both were exhausted, their powers returning to 0 at Heavenly Gate Mountain. The snake was captured and brought to the jade mine as a slave. The dragon god, C1, had been transformed into a dragon egg. Tang Shi, the snake demon suffering from amnesia, mistook it for a snake egg, believing it to be her younger brother. See when that scoundrel seized the opportunity to impersonate Tang Shi's brother, deceiving her with feigned love and protection. She knelt down, gently holding the hand of a young boy. Later, Tang Shi discovered this person wasn't her brother, but she had gradually fallen in love with this handsome young man she raised herself. But he cruelly betrayed her love. He told her they were mortal enemies in their past lives, and their current relationship was a karmic curse. He didn't hesitate to point his sword at her. He wanted to kill her to break through to the 9th level of immortality. The flashback ended, returning to the present, with Ning Ning hanging precariously above the lava pit. She thought, fine, let that heartless, unfeeling dragon god die with me. But suddenly, something grabbed her leg. Just as her head was about to touch the lava, she was pulled up by a small dragon wrapped around her leg. It grumbled, "You're so heavy. Are you a pig or something?" Even though she was being saved, Ning Ning retorted, "You're the pig. You're just too small. That's why you're struggling." It was then she realized the presence of the little dragon. Wait a minute, where did this little dragon come from? Isn't that the egg? The dragon's face darkened at her words. "I'm not small." Ning Ning, now fully grasping her situation, fearfully pleaded, "I didn't mean it. I'm sorry." She thought, no way. Did I actually hatch this thing? Without a word, the dragon suddenly let her go. She screamed, and just as she neared the lava again, the dragon flung her back up. "Stop it, you bastard!" she yelled. The dragon, having enjoyed teasing her, laughed heartily. This is so much fun. Ning Ning, dizzy from being tossed around, still managed to challenge him. If you're so capable, then drop me. True to his uncaring nature, after pulling her up to the cliff edge, the dragon unceremoniously dumped her on ground. Dizzy, Ning Ning muttered, "Revenge is a dish best served cold. You're not done with me yet." Then she passed out. A poetic scene unfolded. Lin Yang and Ning Ning were in a tender embrace. He, taking advantage of her love, spoke sweet words. "For my 9-day seclusion, may I borrow the snake core within you?" Blinded by love, she foolishly agreed. "I'm willing. For you, Lin Yang, I have no regrets." Ning Ning suddenly woke up from the dream, furious. "Willing my foot." But then, before her appeared C1, the dragon god, still in his small dragon form, his bright eyes fixed on her. "You're awake," he said. His cuteness almost melted her heart. She squealed internally, suppressing her joy. But his next words sent a chill down her spine. "Now that you're awake, can I eat?" Speechless, she realized he hadn't killed her just to keep her as food. She narrowed her eyes at him. "Do we know each other?" The question seemed to help her regain her composure. "I almost fell for his charm again. After he grows up, he'll take my snake core to regain his immortal status." He spoke again. "Didn't you hatch me, you piggy? Whoever hatches me has the responsibility to raise me. It's only right and proper." Ning Ning yelled, "Right and proper? Where did you get that idea? I'm not a pig. I'm Ning Ning." He unconsciously repeated the name. Ning Ning, a nice name. He seemed confused. "Then who am I? I don't remember anything. Where am I?" She looked at the boy before her, suspicion and doubt filling her mind. Is he faking amnesia? Could everything that happened before really be erased? But she couldn't quite believe it. "I don't buy it. The book didn't say he'd lose his memory." Resolute, she suddenly stood up. Then, completely unexpectedly, she bolted. She ran as fast as her legs could carry her, vanishing in a flash. C1, the dragon god, could only weakly stretch out his hand towards her, pathetically calling, "Sister. Sister, are you still angry about what happened earlier? I was just playing with you." C1 chased after her. "Sister Ning Ning, where are you going? Take me with you." As she ran, she called back, "I don't have money to feed you." But in her heart, she thought, "I'd be crazy to raise my own enemy. Raise you so you can skin me and take my demon core later." Suddenly, Siwon fell to the ground with a yelp. Ning Ning stopped and turned back to check on him. "What's wrong?" Siwon, now like a whimpering child, reached out to her. "My waist hurts. I think I broke it when I saved you in the cave." Ning Ning knelt down to examine him. He really was injured. She was speechless. "He's clearly messing with me. I don't like owing anyone favors. But I can't just leave him in the wilderness to be eaten by tigers and wolves." With a sigh, she offered him her hand. "Come on, let's get out of the forest first." Dusk had fallen. Ning Ning carried Siwon through the crowds. She thought, once we're in the city, I'll find a good place to ditch this nuisance. Then, Siwon, like an innocent child, asked, "You were standing in front of the stage for a long time earlier. What was that play about?" Ning Ning explained, "That was a scene from Flower's Fate, about a flower fairy who saved a mortal scholar and vowed to repay his kindness." Siwon asked, "A life-saving favor must be repaid with one's body." Ning Ning replied, "Something like that. That's how it usually goes. Otherwise, it would seem heartless and ungrateful." Then she suggested, "There's a noodle shop over there. Let's go." But once inside, Siwon didn't eat, just poked at his noodles. "Not good?" she asked. He replied, "I don't know why, but my hands are so heavy I can't lift them. If you don't care about me, I'll starve to death." Ning Ning responded indifferently. "So," Siwon whined, "I want you to feed me." Looking at his open mouth, Ning Ning thought, "I could fit my whole fist in that little mouth." She continued to tease him, "If you don't eat, you'll starve." "Serves you right." Looking at the bustling crowd, she thought, "This is my chance. I'll just ditch him here while it's busy." But just as she was about to leave, Siwon burst into tears. The sound of his crying drew a crowd of concerned women. "What's wrong? Who made such a cute little boy cry? Who's bullying him? Annie will get revenge for you." Seizing the opportunity, Siwon pointed at Ning Ning. "It's her. She won't feed me." Seeing the crowd staring, Ning Ning quickly waved her hands in denial. "We're not even close. Whoever wants this kid can take him." "Really? Thank you all so much." Siwon, however, wasn't having it. "You're lying. You're my wife." Ning Ning shrieked at his absurd declaration. "What? You're lying, you little brat. Do you even know what a wife is?" Siwon explained, "I've been with you since I was born. You're not my mother, and you're not my sister. So if you're not my wife, then what are you?" Ning Ning lost her composure and grabbed Siwon by the scruff of his neck. "Stop lying." He remained stubbornly defiant. "I'm not lying." He continued, "You just said you owed me a life-saving favor and would repay me with your body. So, you must be my wife." The surrounding crowd burst into laughter, leaving Ningning utterly mortified. Standing off to the side, she suddenly heard someone ask, "Have you seen this person?" After seeing the person in question, she knew things were bad. Very bad. The pursuers had arrived. Scooping up C1, she bolted. The onlookers continued to tease her as she ran. "Young lady, you should be nice to your little husband. Don't bully him." Ningning thought, incredulously, who's bullying who? They found temporary shelter for the night in a deserted temple. "What are you doing?" Ningning asked. C1, lying in her arms amidst the straw, replied casually, "Sleeping." Uncomfortable, Ningning told him, "Go sleep on your own side." He clung to her tightly, whining, "No, it's too hard over there. You're much softer and more comfortable." He then parroted her earlier words. "You said yourself that a life-saving favor must be repaid with one's body. It's the righteous way of the world. You're a grown-up, you can't go back on your word." Ignoring his protests, she tried to push him away. Failing that, she resorted to a gentler approach. "Life is unpredictable, C1. You're a divine creature. When you grow up, you'll understand what true love really is. Wouldn't it be tragic to be bound by a hasty promise made now?" C1 innocently asked, "What is true love?" Then, with excitement, he declared, "I want you to take care of me. Eating, sleeping, bathing, always by my side. Isn't that love?" Ningning stifled a laugh. "That's a servant." He added, "Then be my servant." Ningning poked him on the forehead. "Ow!" He yelped. "If you want a servant," she said, "go buy one. I'm leaving you in 2 days, kid. You're big enough to take care of yourself." He pleaded, "I have a heart condition. Don't be angry with me." Ningning saw right through his act, lying without even a decent excuse, putting on a performance like a dying cow. "Who do you think you're fooling?" He continued his charade. I can't breathe." Ningning remained unconvinced. "Nice acting. Keep it up." He gasped dramatically, unable to speak. Suddenly, a frantic pounding came from the temple doors. "Ningning, I know you're in there. Come out and surrender. We'll spare your life." Ningning panicked. "Trouble. The Heavenly Gate sect is here." Siwen asked, "Are they your enemies? Do you still have your magic?" Despite the urgency, Ningning asked him, "Are you all right? Are you really sick?" She had thought he was faking, but now she wasn't so sure. He replied, "I think it's been like this since I was born. I don't matter. Run." The voice outside continued, "Ningning, you think you can escape? You're very wrong. Perhaps you don't know, but every demon is marked. A mark that torments them to the bone every single day. A life worse than death." Ningning was stunned by these words. The voice shouted again, "If you understand, come out now." It suddenly dawned on Ningning. What she had thought was Tang Shi's birthmark was actually something those Heavenly Gate sect cultivators had done. Siwen offered a suggestion. "Take me hostage. Tell them you kidnapped me. That way, they won't dare touch you." Under the cover of darkness, the temple doors opened. Ningning, in her true snake form, coiled around C1 and appeared before the crowd. Ningning hissed menacingly, "Anyone who comes closer, I'll eat this child." C1 played along, wailing loudly. The villagers panicked. Heavenly Gate disciples, save the child. Kill this demon. Xian Fong, a disciple of the Heavenly Gate sect, pointed her sword at Ningning. "You unrepentant demon, how dare you threaten me?" She began to channel her energy, the sword glowing with power. Prepare tout dit. Siwen continued his dramatic sobbing. "I don't want to die." But as he cried, he subtly unleashed his own magic, blasting Xian Fong back with a force that made her cry out in pain. Her fellow disciples rushed to her side. "Senior sister, are you all right?" Clutching her chest, she gasped. How did that little demon suddenly become so powerful? Another disciple chimed in. "Senior sister, I heard that entering the void has 2 possible outcomes. One is severe illness or injury, even if you don't die. The other," the disciple continued, "is a change in temperament, an agitation of demonic energy. It could lead to memory loss or even madness, but it can also drastically increase one's power." Ningning now believed C1. If that was the case, the little dragon not only had amnesia, but also some kind of serious illness. Xian Fong, still determined, continued to gather her strength. "So what if she's stronger? If we don't kill this demon now, there will be dire consequences. I, a righteous cultivator, must slay you here." Suddenly, a woman rushed forward and grabbed her. "What are you doing?" Xian Fong exclaimed. The woman pointed at Ningning and C1. "Can't you see that child? That snake demon lusts after his beauty. She wants to raise him to be her husband. How can you let her kill him now?" Ningning was speechless. The woman's imagination was truly something. "I never said anything like that." Siwen continued to cry, tears streaming down his face. "I don't want to die. I was a young master from a wealthy family, but I contracted a disease and ended up here. He continued to embellish his story. My mother doesn't love me, my wife doesn't love me, and now you all want me dead. Ningning looked at him with a flicker of concern. He's really going all out. This isn't just asthma, is it? Hearing about a contagious disease, everyone backed away. What? This cute child has a contagious disease. Get away. Get away from him. They retreated further and further. Just let us go. Let's go, you demon. Siwen continued his performance. She want me to be her child husband. Even though this demon is ugly, I'll be happy, and I might even live a few more years. The crowd murmured sympathetically. Poor child. So pitiful. Ningning couldn't take his fabrications any longer. She glared at him and hissed, "Are you done yet?" Then, grabbing him, she fled. Xianfang, caught off guard, watched them escape. Furious, she yelled, "Get back here. I will catch you." Dawn broke, revealing Ningning and Siwen in a small cave. Siwen complained, "Ningning, this medicine is so bitter." She knelt beside him, coaxing gently, "If you don't drink it, you'll feel even worse. Here, have some sugar." He obediently opened his mouth, and she quickly slipped the pill inside. A thought crossed her mind. She had initially considered getting rid of this strange child, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. She recalled their visit to the apothecary. The physician had told her, "This child has congenital asthma. He was born prematurely and is very weak. He could at any time. He won't be easy to raise." He had continued, "This prescription will provide temporary relief. If his condition worsens, you'll need to seek help from a more skilled practitioner." Thinking about this, she sighed and stood up. "I'll deal with him when he's older." As if reading her mind, he said with a hint of petulance, "You can't abandon me this time. I saved your life twice, after all. You said you'd repay a life-saving debt with your body." She retorted, "I didn't ask you to help me. You did it of your own accord, and now you want a reward." Seeing her coldness, he said with a touch of exasperation, "So, husband and wife is out of the question. Master and slave. How about you be my master?" She couldn't understand his thinking. "Your spiritual power is greater than mine. What could I possibly teach you? Eating, playing, manners." Suddenly, a mischievous glint appeared in her eyes. "Maybe I could teach him how to be a delinquent. If this kid loses his chance at immortality, then I can keep my own little life, right?" Seeing her sly expression, he hesitated. "Maybe we should reconsider this whole master-disciple thing." But she just laughed. "No need to think it over. It's settled. Follow me and become my disciple. I'll teach you well." Meanwhile, in a brightly lit town adorned with lanterns, Siwen commented, "You said you wanted to take me sightseeing. This doesn't seem very educational." Ningning Bryset Lin Young Estelent, Lin Young, you truly are gifted to be able to draw such extraordinary spiritual power from an egg. This technique is quite impressive. Despite herself, she had to admit it. She coughed lightly. "You're not bad either." She seemed to be starting to understand the original Ningning's blind love. This is what he looks like grown up. No wonder she was so devoted to him. They reached a pleasure house where beautiful women called out, "Come in, come in." Ningning seemed eager to corrupt her little dragon disciple. "Let's go in. Master will show you the joys of the mortal world." Siwen looked displeased. "Why do we have to go in there? The circus on the street looks fun, and it's free." Ningning proudly held up a heavy purse. "I have money to broaden your horizons." Seeing the purse, Siwen asked suspiciously, "Did you steal that?" Ningning replied smugly, "I didn't steal it." He went in there and got swindled by the women. Look at his age. He clearly has a family. Causing discord in his family. How unfortunate. I'm just helping him. A beautiful woman approached C1, smiling seductively. "Oh, hello, young master. You're so handsome. Would you like me to accompany you?" Ningning eagerly answered for him, "Yes. Yes. Take us inside." Inside the pleasure house, Siwen sat surrounded by beautiful women, leisurely drinking wine. The women vied for his attention. "Young master, where are you from? Is this your first time in Yangzhou? If you don't mind, you can call for Fenger any time. I'm willing to accompany you, day or night." Meanwhile, Ningning sat amidst the courtesans, mortified. Her face flushed crimson as she thought, "This little brat is a natural charmer. He doesn't need any lessons at all." One of the women next to her remarked, "Oh my, I didn't realize you had such a low tolerance for alcohol. You're already drunk after only half a jug." Despite knowing Ningning was inebriated, the courtesan continued to offer her more wine, forcing Ningning to quickly decline. "No more, no more. Leave me alone." She stumbled over to C1 and demanded, "What are you doing?" He replied innocently, "This is the game you just taught me." They praised me for learning so quickly. They said I'm a genius. At this, she grabbed his hand and pulled him away. What's so good about this place? Master has changed her mind. Come with me. He protested. These sisters want to broaden my horizons. Why are you in such a hurry, Master? But once outside, Ningning paused, thinking he's right. This wasn't my original plan. Why am I stopping him? Changing her tune yet again, she said, fine, I don't care what you do. I'm going to the back courtyard to sober up. Seeing her drunken state, Siwon offered, Master, I'll go with you. She coldly replied, be careful. I might throw up on your genius self. You have so many admirers waiting for you. How can you bear to leave them? After she left, one of the courtesans who had been observing the scene remarked with a hint of jealousy, my. It seems your master is jealous. Siwon, confused, asked him, why would you be jealous? The courtesan, amused by his naivete, chuckled. Little young master, you don't know what jealousy is. Didn't your master teach you? He honestly replied, this is the first time I've heard of it. Seeing this, the courtesan spoke frankly, your master has possessive desires towards you. Let me tell you, little young master, you should stay away from men like that. Intrigued, si wen linding. Oh really? Tell me more. Meanwhile, in the back courtyard, Ningning fumed, her cheeks puffed with anger. Those vixens are definitely bad-mouthing me to my disciple. They deliberately got me drunk, so I'd stay with Lin Yang. Suddenly, in a secluded corner of the flower garden, Yu Ma-chun was pushing Yu Hung to the ground, attempting to seduce him. Yu Hung cried out, let me go. You shameless scoundrel. Yu Ma-chun, you fiend. You defy the 3 realms and 6 paths, daring to commit such depravity. The Tao will not forgive you. Yu Ma-chun simply retorted, oh, I don't care about such things. My, Taoist Yu Hung, you look so beautiful when you're angry. It makes me want to devour you whole. Ningning, witnessing this melodramatic scene, her eyes lit up. So this is the infamous Yu Ma-chun, truly a breathtaking beauty. So, it turns out he doesn't entertain guests, but hunts Taoists instead. Suddenly, Siwon appeared beside her, placing his hand on her head, startling her. Master, what are you looking at? Ningning quickly covered his eyes, whispering, why are you here, kid? Siwon replied casually, the sisters inside said you might be madly jealous, so I came to check on you. Suddenly, Yu Ma-chun sensed someone watching. She quickly adjusted her clothes and transformed into her true form, a fox demon. She snarled, which shameless man dares to peep at this great immortal's pleasure? Enraged, she unleashed a vicious attack towards the hidden onlookers. I'll tear you to shreds within this barrier, she threatened. Siwon quickly shielded Ningning, creating a barrier that protected them from the magical attack. However, the effort drained his power. Oh no, I used too much of the incantation. I can't hold on any longer, he muttered, reverting back to his childlike form. Yu Ma-chun, witnessing this, was taken aback. Such a young age, yet such powerful magic, she marveled. The Taoist, bound by vines, was Yu Hung, a disciple of the Heavenly Gate sect. He exclaimed, born with innate chi. This child is a once-in-a-century cultivation prodigy. Boy, what's your name? Ningning instinctively stepped forward to shield Siwon, saying, this is my disciple. Excuse us. He already has a master, so there's no need for others to bother. Her protective gesture confirmed Siwon's suspicions. Master really does have possessive desires towards me. Yu Ma-chun laughed. Ah, you little demon. What qualifications do you have to take on such a talented disciple? What a waste of heaven's gift to have you as a master. She approached Ningning, reaching out to touch her neck, her eyes sharp with interrogation. Tell me, Master, what brings you and your little disciple to my jade pleasure house? Seeing this, Siwon unleashed his power, revealing small dragon horns on his head. Stop, he commanded. Though I am young, if you harm my master, I will not hesitate to take your fox demon life. Yu Ma-chun's interest was immediately piqued. A dragon, she asked Ningning. Truly a rare sight. Where did you find him? The East Sea, the West Sea. Ningning, her face paling, gritted her teeth, thinking a dragon god falling from the sky is a huge deal. If this fox demon blabs, we'll be exposed. The fox demon abandoned Ningning and approached Siwon. What's so good about this master of yours, little demon? Siwon placed a hand on his chest, his eyes filled with conviction. Although my master is foolish and poor, bad at fighting, and only good at talking big, she is my Ningning, the master I have chosen. His sincere words filled Ningning's head with question marks. Yu Ma-chun knelt before Siwon, lifting his chin with one hand. All right then, just let this immortal stroke your chest scales, and I'll guarantee your safety. Inwardly, she thought, dragon scales are rare indeed. I can use them for protection. Siwon innocently pulled open his robes. Reverse scales. I haven't grown any yet. Maybe you should wait a few more years. The fox demon, now suspicious, tapped her chin. You don't even have reverse scales. Just who are you? The still-bound Yu Hong called out. Why not come with me to the Heavenly Gate sect? If you don't mind, little brother, I'd be happy to introduce you to my master. Without hesitation, Siwon used his magic to free Yu Hong. What are you guys doing? Having fun. Ningning called out sarcastically from behind them, hands on her hips. The Heavenly Gate sect has one good disciple. That's about all they're good for. Yu Hong blushed, stammering, don't talk nonsense. I came here to slay demons. Unfortunately, my skills are lacking. He then decided discretion was the better part of valor and vanished in a flash of light, calling out, thank you, little brother, for your help. Until we meet again. The furious fox demon could only yell after him, you rotten Taoist. Don't run. But Yu Ma-chun didn't seem to care. She sauntered over to Ningning, one arm snaking around her waist, the other hand caressing her face. Her long tongue flicked out, licking Ningning's cheek. Since you're so eager to take charge, she purred, release all the prey I've captured. Or perhaps you'll offer your disciple in their place. Siwon, witnessing this, could no longer remain passive. He unleashed his power, determined to rescue Ningning from the fox demon's grasp. Let go of my master. Seeing Siwon struggling to exert his power, Ningning cried out in anguish, Siwon, master is fine. Don't use your power. Remember your illness. Realizing he was no match for Yu Ma-chun, Siwon offered a compromise. Isn't it just the reverse scales you want? I'll give them to you. But Yu Ma-chun wasn't easily swayed. She tossed a contract towards him. Little dragon, she sneered, you're drawing on paper. Do you know the consequences if you don't give me your reverse scales when the time comes? Ningning, however, intervened. This demonic document is unacceptable. Who knows if it's even a legitimate contract? Siwon didn't hesitate. He signed a contract. Fine, I'll sign. Just keep your promise. My master and I will leave this place. Yu Ma-chun nodded, a satisfied smirk spreading across her face. Good. Remember, if you break your promise, I will find you, no matter where you hide. After they escaped, Ningning leaned against a tree, panting, and scolded Siwon. You're so foolish. Couldn't you have used a little charm to appease that old fox? She pressed him further. Those are dragons' reverse scales. Do you understand how important they are? Siwon looked at her quizzically. Master, are you sure you possess the beauty required for a charm offensive? Ningning's face darkened, her hands clenching into fists. What did you say? Siwon placed his hands on his hips, declaring boldly, don't worry, master. When I become stronger, I won't be afraid of her. Ningning's expression suddenly shifted, a thoughtful look replacing her anger. Disciple, she said, we have more important matters to attend to. Her face now held a chilling intensity. That Taoist, Yu Hong, did he escape? She stated her next objective with grim determination. Let's go find our would-be murderer. Siwon replied innocently, Master, I let him go just now. Why do I need to kill him? Ningning's voice sharpened with urgency. When those cultivation sects discover your true identity, they'll rip you apart for your dragon core. Then you'll understand. As far as I know, she continued, that Yu Hong will become the Grand Master of the Heavenly Gate sect in a few years. He'll slaughter demons as if they were evil incarnate. That means he'll come after you, Siwon. Siwon, skipping playfully beside her, asked curiously, are there really people who do such terrible things? Why? Ningning crossed her arms and quickened her pace. Do you really think joining the Heavenly Gate sect would bring you any good? She explained as they walked. We're just taking precautions. They say our ancestors chose not to become immortals for a reason. Siwon, understanding dawning in his eyes, clenched his fists. Suddenly, a shield of energy appeared, blocking a streak of green light. Yu Hong, holding his sword defensively, called out anxiously, who's there? Siwon approached cheerfully. Taoist brother. He greeted. My master doesn't hold a grudge. Are your injuries all right? Realizing his mistake, Yu Hong bowed apologetically. My apologies, benefactor. I thought someone was stealing my pouch. I didn't realize it was the esteemed immortal master. Ningning chuckled inwardly as she watched Yu Hong, thinking, no wonder Yu Ma-chun stripped him clean. Yu Hong, ever eager to please, gestured warmly. Benefactors, wait a moment. I'll gather some firewood and roast some sweet potatoes. As Yu Hong bustled off, Ningning pulled out a small vial, a sinister plan forming in her mind. Snake venom, she thought, enough to erase all his memories, but not enough to kill him. just enough to make him forget. Night fell over the forest. Under a clear, moonlit sky, fireflies flickered like scattered jewels. Ningning and Si-Wen sat together, exchanging smug smiles as they watched Yu Heng eat and drink with gusto. "This melon soup is truly divine," he declared between bites. Their plan, it seemed, was working perfectly. Suddenly, a wave of dark energy washed over them, leaving Ningning feeling disoriented. "Master, be careful," Si-Wen warned, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. Ningning turned sharply, her eyes widening in alarm. A palanquin carried by undead figures approached, flanked by two attendants who announced in unison, "The Lord of Ghost City, Yalu, has arrived. Show respect." Juing, startled, exclaimed, "Yale. I am Yu Heng, a righteous cultivator of the mortal realm. Do you know that your presence here violates the laws of both Ghost City and the heavenly Tao?" Yalu, the Lord of Ghost City, emerged from the palanquin, one arm casually draped over the side, a nonchalant smile playing on his lips. "Little Taoist," he purred, "you dare steal away the woman intended for this lord. You have committed a grave offense." Yu Heng stumbled back, flustered. "I'm a righteous cultivator. I saw this beautiful maiden being forced away and intervened. It was my duty." Ningning, clinging to Si-Wen in fear, thought, "We're doomed. That snake venom, it not only erases memories, but also causes confusion and lethargy." Yu Heng, now enraged, bellowed, "I ask you, weren't you betrothed to Tung Sha, the demon lord of Snake Demon Mountain? Why are you out here flirting with women?" Ningning paled, a horrifying realization dawning on her. Si-Wen, equally stunned, was bombarded with questions. Ghost City acknowledging the power of Snake Demon Mountain. Snake Demon Mountain acknowledging Ghost City. Tung Sha and Yalu barely know each other. This must be some sort of alliance of convenience. Watching Yalu step out of the palanquin, Ningning thought grimly. If Tung Sha hadn't ascended to challenge Si-Wen, she probably would have married Yalu by now. Suddenly, Yali's gaze shifted to Ningning, sending a shiver down her spine. "He won't recognize me, will he?" she thought, sweating nervously. "Why am I so unlucky today?" An arm wrapped around her waist, pulling her close. Yalu, holding her hand, said without a hint of shame, "I like your waist, maiden. Care to spend a passionate night with me?" Ningning forced a nervous laugh, trying to deflect his advances. This humble servant is but a minor demon, unworthy of the Lord's affections. Her words, however, only piqued Yali's interest. He tilted her chin up, studying her face. "I feel like I've met you somewhere before." Si-Wen, weakened, slumped beside them. "Let go of my master," he croaked. His weakness stemmed from the miasma surrounding Yalu, its dark energy reacting with Si-Wen's pure yang energy. Suddenly, Ningning punched Yalu in the stomach, doubling him over in pain. While Yalu was still reeling, Ningning grabbed Si-Wen's hand and fled. Yalu, intrigued by Ningning's defiance, ordered his attendants. "This woman is interesting. Capture her and bring her back to Go City. Wash her thoroughly and bring her to my bedchamber." Ningning, having run a good distance, finally stopped, wiping the sweat from her brow. "We escaped," she thought with a sigh of relief. That Ghost City Lord's cultivation is truly formidable. No wonder Tung Sha was going to marry him. Si-Wen, perched on Ningning's shoulder, persistently asked, "Master, how can I become stronger? Strong enough to defeat that Ghost City Lord?" Ningning, taken aback, replied, "Why are you suddenly so fixated on this? I don't really know the details of their feud. It wasn't written in the original script." Si-Wen, his eyes filled with determination, declared, "I just hate him. When I become stronger, I will definitely kill him." Ningning, horrified by this declaration, imagined Si-Wen devouring snakes. No, you don't need to become that strong," she stammered. She patted Si-Wen reassuringly, quickly changing the subject. "Let's find a place to rest. Come with Master back home to Snake Demon Mountain." Si-Wen, delighted at the prospect of going home, let out a joyful laugh. "Home! We're going home." However, their path was blocked by a gatekeeper who demanded, "Are you looking for Tung Sha, the Demon Lord? This place has changed hands." "What?" Ningning asked, bewildered. Tung Sha fought and disappeared. Secretly, she felt a surge of relief. "It's a good thing I conceal my identity as the imprisoned demon pill and altered my appearance accordingly." The gatekeeper replied, "Isn't that right?" She insisted on ascending to the ninth heaven, seeking her own death. This led to a chaotic free-for-all among the immortal and demon lords. In the end, Meng Shou, the dream-devouring demon lord, emerged victorious. Ningning frowned, puzzled. He's just a minor dream devourer. How could he have won? What was the Wolf Demon King doing? The gatekeeper, puffing out his chest with pride, explained, "Our new demon emperor is very resourceful. He waited until his opponents were asleep, transformed into a beautiful woman, entered their dreams, and seduced them until their souls were in disarray. That's despicable." Si Wen retorted. His opponents must have been fools. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, the gatekeeper replied, clicking his tongue. You little fluffball, you don't understand the woes of springtime yet. The woes of springtime. Si Wen tilted his head, confused. Ning Ning coughed awkwardly, quickly steering the conversation back on track. Please, could you let us through? She asked, offering a bribe. The gatekeeper, accepting the money with a grin, replied, certainly. A week passed by peacefully. Ning Ning, carrying a woven basket, cheerfully headed out. Although she couldn't return to the Demon Emperor's palace, she was fortunate that Tang Sha had another residence in the mountains. Stroking the herbs she had gathered, she mused, all I have to rely on are these herbs to get by. They can treat little dragon's illness and be sold for money. Ning Ning thought optimistically about the future. Perhaps, she thought, I can even break the seal on my demon power, killing multiple birds with one stone. Suddenly, a voice rang out, dripping with malice. Well, if it isn't the Black Crow who spews ill will. Tung Sha, the Demon Lord. So you're not dead yet. Ning Ning feigned ignorance. Who are you? You've mistaken me for someone else. The Black Crow squawked, don't lie to me. On this entire Snake Demon Mountain, only Tang Sha knows how to cultivate this screaming fruit. Ning Ning suddenly realized something. Unclean. This isn't right. You're her sister, Dan Wu, she said, a chill running down her spine. Dan Wei erupted and left her. My foolish older sister is dead. Your subordinates are dead, dragged to their deaths by you. Ning Ning, unable to process this devastating news, dropped her basket of herbs, the contents spilling onto the ground. Dan Wu, the Black Crow, continued her taunts. Tell me, those loyal subordinates who died unjustly, seeing how cowardly Tang Sha has become now, do you think they can rest in peace? Suddenly, a rich, intoxicating aroma wafted through the air. Dan Wu inhaled deeply, mesmerized. Such a unique scent. I wonder if eating her liver would make me even more beautiful. Ning Ning, her teeth clenched in worry, thought, damn it. I told Lin Yang to go to the next area and borrow something from Black Bear. This isn't good. Dan Wu, with a sinister laugh, took flight. Just you wait. I'll report your whereabouts to the new Demon Emperor. But first, I'll enjoy a good meal. She pursued Ning Ning, screeching, stop. Left with no other choice, Ning Ning released the seal on her demon power. Forcibly breaking the seal will only last a short while, but it should be enough. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, little Black Bear waved excitedly. Lin Yang, you're here. There's honey over here. But before Lin Yang could react, a sharp cry pierced the air. Lin Yang, get down. At that moment, the malicious Black Crow, Dan Wu, swooped down, only to be met by Snake 6's venomous fangs. Dan Wu's black feathers scattered as she attacked Snake 6, but a shimmering barrier deflected everyone. Dan Wu cried out in pain as Ning Ning coiled around her, tightening her grip. I didn't expect you to still have demonic power, Tang Sha. Don't get cocky. You'll be destroyed too. In a flash, Snake 6 lunged forward, tearing into Dan Wu's throat. The Black Crow managed one final, ear-splitting shriek before falling silent. Snake 6 slowly transformed back into a human form. Ning Ning, her clothes soaked in blood, collapsed, the pain searing through her. The seal on her demon core thickened, her cultivation once again suppressed. Little Black Bear, witnessing the entire scene, stared with wide, awestruck eyes. My mother, Lin Yang, said that there's only one Tang Sha on Snake Demon Mountain. It must be her. Lin Yang, equally astonished, thought, so Master Ning Ning is the legendary Tang Sha, and she risked her life to protect me. He rushed to her side, his voice filled with concern. Master, are you all right? Lin Yang helped her up. Let's get you off Snake Demon Mountain. But Ning Ning refused. The most dangerous place is the safest place. It's not advantageous for me to be outside. Another week passed. Silence descended upon her small room. Ning Ning, flushed with fever, opened her eyes and weakly asked. Before her stood a grown-up C1, his gaze cold. You went to such lengths to prevent me from ascending. Was it fun? Fun, she groaned, her chest tight with discomfort. A faint, ethereal voice echoed, pulling her back. Master, Master! Ningning jolted awake, crying out, Celestial Emperor, spare me. Grilled snake meat isn't tasty. Lin Yong tilted his head, concerned. Celestial Emperor. Master, are you delirious? Are you feverish again? She didn't answer, only coughing violently. Cough, cough, cough. Master, Lin Yong cried, his worry evident. Ningning offered a weak reassurance. Master's fine. It's just forcibly breaking the seal takes a while to recover. He lowered his voice. But what if we encounter a powerful enemy again? Is there a more permanent solution? Ningning replied, yes. Consuming the six-sided pill, a magical treasure of the Xia Xian sect, can completely unlock the demon core. Upon hearing this, Lin Yong immediately turned to leave. Then I'll go find the six-sided pill. She quickly reached out and grabbed his arm. Wait, Ningning said. Do you even know anyone in the Xia Xian sect? Do you have any idea where the six-sided pill is? What do you think a little sprout, can possibly find? After her initial outburst, her tone softened. When Master recovers, we'll go together and inquire about the six-sided pill. Lin Yong responded dejectedly, yes, Master. She changed the subject. By the way, I taught you how to cultivate those spirit herbs a while back. Did you go down the mountain and sell them today? He brightened, pulling out a small pile of silver coins. I sold them all. Look, the money's all here. Ningning took the coins, a suspicious look on her face. That doesn't seem right. Why is there so little money? Lin Yang grinned sheepishly. I got a little hungry. I spent some on snacks on the way down the mountain. She smiled faintly, nodding. I see. But inwardly, she thought, little Lin Yong isn't usually like this. He's so young, and he's already learning to lie. A child needs guidance. Hiding behind a tree, Ningning secretly observed her disciple, wondering, could it be that my Uncle Black's achievements are becoming more pronounced? Has he picked up the habit of visiting brothels or developed a gambling addiction? She confidently gave herself a thumbs up. My plan worked perfectly. Tung Sha's 5 poisons have completely crippled his dragon tendon. Even if the celestial army searches for him, they won't be able to restore his divine power. Ningning mused, today I'll assess the results of my educational efforts. Meanwhile, up ahead, 3 villagers approached Lin Yang's stall. One asked in surprise, Little Shi Xiang, are you really willing to treat us for free? Another chimed in, it's true. Look at my arm. He healed it, and his herbs are so cheap. Ningning, listening from her hiding spot, felt a vain throb in her forehead. She gripped the tree trunk so tightly that it cracked. Cheap herbs is one thing, but this child is practically giving them away. Suddenly, a haggard-looking mother stumbled forward, falling to her knees before Lin Yong. In her arms, she cradled a sickly, pale child. She pleaded, kind doctor, please, can you look at my child? No one knows what ails him. Tears streamed down her face as she sobbed. My poor child, he's suffered so much already. Why must he endure this? Lin Yong dusted himself off and stood up, his heart filled with compassion. I can treat this illness. Please, wait a moment. He touched his left wrist, a faint demonic aura flickering around him. Lin Yong crushed something in his hand and sprinkled it onto a pre-written prescription. An ordinary person might not understand, but Ningning knew exactly what he was doing. This kind-hearted fool, he's using his own dragon scales as a catalyst. He folded the prescription and handed it to the woman, gently instructing, Madam, take this prescription and brew it for your child. Overcome with gratitude, the mother kowtowed deeply. Thank you, kind doctor. I will never forget your great kindness. Lin Yong, uncomfortable with such displays, quickly helped her up. Madam, there's no need for such formalities. If he doesn't improve in 3 days, come back and see me. Just then, a group of cultivators pushed their way through the bustling street. The woman at the front waved her hands dismissively, shouting, out of the way. Out of the way. It was Xian Fong. Her eyes scanned the bustling street, then narrowed in frustration. Where has that little imp, Hua Qing, run off to now? So infuriating. The man beside her spoke softly, trying to appease her. Senior sister, please calm down. Hua Qing is still young. Besides, she's bright and quick-witted. A little playful nature isn't a bad thing. Ningning, recognizing Xian Fong, quickly ducked behind a tree. Xian Fong, here, of all places, talk about a narrow escape. Xian Fong dropped the subject of her missing junior, only to launch into another complaint. Her voice, sharp and carrying, drifted down the narrow street. That good-for-nothing Huarong, daring to associate with that lecherous fiend, the Lord of Ghost City. If her younger sister had joined our sect, I would have instilled some proper discipline. She wouldn't be following in her sister's disgraceful footsteps. She turned to her companions. Have you heard any news of that demon girl? The man chuckled dismissively. Seeing your sister, a stray demon or two around here, is hardly unusual. We are close to Snake Demon Mountain, after all. Xian Fong stroked her chin thoughtfully. I wonder, could it be that loathsome snake demon? Not far away, an adorable little girl suddenly bounded up to Lin Yang, her childish voice sweet and coaxing. Brother Lin Yang, will you come to the night market with me? With her was a male cultivator who bowed slightly and addressed Lin Yang. May I ask, are you young Master Lin Yang? Lin Yang hesitatet, drawing back Li. Who are you? I don't know you. The man introduced himself as Wang Shou, the head disciple of Wen Tianling sect. He extended an invitation. We've heard you possess remarkable medical skills, young Master Lin Yang. Would you be interested in joining our Wen Tianling sect? Lin Yang refused without a second thought. I have someone to care for at home. I can't just leave. But Wang Shou cut him off. To be frank, young master, our sect is in need of talented young individuals skilled in herbal medicine like yourself. He continued, while our Wen Tianling sect is renowned for its swordsmanship, our alchemical skills are also second to none. At this, Lin Yang's ears perked up. If you can refine pills, can you refine the six-sided pill? Wang Shou responded smoothly, young master, you jest. That's an ancient pill, not something easily refined. However, we do possess such treasures in our Wen Tianling sect. If you were to join us, you would certainly have greater access to such resources. The little girl chimed in, yes, Brother Lin Yang. Come with us. Wen Tianling sect is the best sect in the world. Before Lin Yang could respond, Xian Fong's enraged voice cut through the air. Hua Qing, you ran off to meet this boy. Elsewhere, Ningning successfully slipped away, breathing a sigh of relief. That Xian Fong is like a bad penny. Good thing I'm quick on my feet. Suddenly, two demons appeared before her, leering. Well, what a pretty little flower we have here, one of them purred. We heard the desolate mountains were barren, but look what we found, a little demon. Ningning glared back. This land is under my protection. Are you looking for trouble? The horned demon smirked. That's right. We're here to share the wealth. Just entertain us and give us a 70% cut as protection money. Ningning's brow furrowed. Without another word, she flicked her wrist, sending a wave of force that knocked them back. In your dreams, she snarled. However, the two demons weren't easy opponents. The darker-skinned one suddenly appeared behind Ningning, wielding a club in both hands, aiming a sneak attack. In that perilous moment, a skeletal figure, radiating an eerie aura, materialized in front of her. Without much effort, the skeleton forced the demon to retreat, shielding Ningning from harm. A deep, husky voice suddenly resonated beside her. Yalu, the Ghost City Lord, appeared as if from thin air, pulling Ningning into a protective embrace. His tone, laced with possessiveness and menace, addressed the two demons. This woman belongs to me. How dare you harass her? Ningning was stunned. Yalu, what is he doing here? The two demons, previously so arrogant, were now paralyzed with fear at the sight of Yalu. She's the Ghost City Lord's woman. They stammered. Lord, please spare us. They cried in unison. We were blind. We didn't recognize Mount Tai. Please forgive us. With that, they fled in terror. Ningning, seizing the opportunity, distanced herself from Yalu and bowed her head in gratitude. Thank you, City Lord, for saving me. Having played the hero, Yalu finally asked, who are you? Ningning smoothly fabricated a story. I'm a servant girl attending to Lord Tang Sha, the snake demon. Surely you remember him. She continued her charade. Lord Tang Sha is quite busy, so he taught me how to cultivate medicinal herbs. However, my skills are far inferior to his. I can only increase cultivation by a single year. Inwardly, she panicked. I hope he buys this. I can't risk him discovering my true identity. This whole charade is for Lin Yang's sake, so he can cultivate in peace. Yalu seemed to believe her story. He stroked his chin thoughtfully. That wretched old fool, Tu Fu. He hasn't even passed through my gates yet, and he's already off to the ninth heaven to slay the dragon god and steal something about a red lotus. And now he's fallen from grace, and even his compass has been stolen. Ningning seethed. So he knows everything. That petty man, his fiancée, tried to kill him, and he didn't even lift a finger to help me when I ascended to the ninth heaven. Outwardly, she maintained a pleasant smile. Yilu leaned in, his voice low and dangerous. You know, you're quite appealing. Strange, I don't have any recollection of you. Ningning improvised. You and my master have only met twice. It's perfectly understandable that you wouldn't remember me. Seeing him inching closer, she quickly made an excuse to dismiss him. Oh dear, my husband will be returning soon. My young husband, though young in years, is quite the jealous type. City Lord, you should really be going. Yilu, feigning ignorance, replied, Oh, you're married. Even better. Married women know how to please a man. Ningning demurely turned her head, feigning shyness. City Lord, I will repay your kindness for saving me. But this isn't a good place. Finally, Yilu took his leave, but not before winking. Such an understanding young lady. There's plenty of time. Next time you deliver medicine to my ghost city, I'll come to see you personally. Once he was gone, Ningning collapsed onto a chair, exhausted. That Yilu is a slippery one. Lin Yang returned, carrying a basket of herbs, and immediately launched into a complaint. Master, you were so friendly with that ghost city lord. You said you were only tolerating him for the greater good, but... She looked up at him. How much did you hear? Do you think I was playing around? He saved me. Someone targeted my fledgling business. Who else could it be but him? Lin Yang threw the basket to the ground, his voice furious. Who targeted you? Besides that ghost city lord, who else would dare harm you, master? I'll go kill that demon. I'll kill the ghost city lord. Ningning, startled, jumped up and stopped him. Lin Yang, are you trying to rebel? What do you think you can accomplish with your current strength? He gritted his teeth. Master, how long must we endure this for the sake of the greater good? With a confident flourish, she declared, We endure until I can unlock my demon core and regain my full power. Then I will reclaim Snake Demon Mountain. Lin Yang stammered, Master, actually He stopped, remembering Ningning's disapproval of his interactions with the cultivation sections. Better not tell her just yet. For the greater good, minor details are unimportant. I'll find a way to steal the six-sided pill. Ningning lifted his wrist. And what's this? Why don't you just carve off your flesh and feed it to the vultures? Look at the state of you. Lin Yang, flustered, wondered if she knew. She crossed her arms and nodded. Indeed, don't think I haven't noticed. Ningning opened her medicine chest, muttering to herself. I wanted to see how my disciple was doing with his trading, but it turns out he's a living, breathing bodhisattva. He leaned against her, as was his habit. Master, he said, feigning innocence, haven't you taught me to be shrewd in business? Heaven destroys those who don't look out for themselves. Master the art of pleasure. How am I doing so far? He looked up at her. Master, how could I possibly enjoy myself knowing you're injured? The little dragon continued. I heard the villagers say that good deeds bring good fortune. My acts of kindness are also meant to cure your illness. Master. She raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? He grinned. Well, my dragon scales will grow back after they shed, anyway. Ningning applied medicine to his wounds, exasperated. You childish fool. Snakes shed their skin. A noble dragon like you. It takes years for new scales to grow. Unfazed by her scolding, he beamed. I know, master. You still care about me. That's all that matters. She pinched his cheek. You idiot. Still smiling. Inwardly, she couldn't help but feel a surge of affection. How can I stay mad at this adorable little dragon? Some time passed, and Ningning sat in the garden, idly murmuring, if only things could stay like this forever. Living like this with him wouldn't be so bad. Suddenly, Yilu appeared as if from nowhere. If only what could stay like this, he asked. Ningning hastily bowed. Greetings, City Lord. I've been waiting for you. Just wait. You won't be able to stand me after this. You'll be taking detours just to avoid me in the future. Yilu approached her. Is your wound healing? I haven't seen you since that day. I thought you'd run away. She feigned innocence. City Lord, what are you talking about? I still need to sell you medicine to make a living. Why would I run away? Mid-sentence, Ningning let out a loud sneeze, spraying Yilu with something. She shuddered. Excuse me, City Lord. I seem to have caught something. Probably a chill. I've been so busy, all alone in the house. He recoiled. What's wrong with your face? She touched her face. My face. Ningning looked up, revealing a face covered in tiny, red blisters. Oh, my face itches terribly. Yilu, without a word, turned and fled. I'll come back another day. Get some rest if you're not feeling well. Ningning, however, wasn't letting him off that easily. She chased after him. It wasn't easy for me to finally decide to work with you, my lord. I've already taken the young master down the mountain. How can the city lord just leave like this? Ningning tugged at Yali's robe, feigning distress. I spent more than half my savings on the young master and his travel expenses, so I could offer him to you without worry. Yilu, Yilu, flustered and disgusted, threw down some banknotes. Here, take this for now. Just deliver the medicine to Ghost City when it's ready. You can have someone else bring it. The two servant girls who accompanied him shuddered. The city lord's tastes, how could he be like this? Ningning watched as Yili's carriage practically flew away. She let out a triumphant chuckle. The poison herbs worked perfectly. Men, so obsessed with appearances. Later that morning, Ningning was admiring herself in the mirror when Lin Yang, in his smaller form, scampered in. Master, I'm back. Where did you go with little Black Bear, causing trouble and getting into mischief? She asked, feigning concern. He burrowed into her embrace. Master, he whined, when can we leave this place? Is your wound any better? Lin Yang asked. I earned some money down at the foot of the mountain. Ningning soothed the small dragon nestled against her. Not yet. It's not time. Her mind drifted to the image of a garden overflowing with medicinal herbs. I've been working on a cure for your asthma these past few days, she said, pinching his adorable cheek. Snake Demon Mountain has a unique spiritual energy that helps herbs grow quickly and with high quality. I haven't found another suitable place yet. Once I've finished my research, we'll leave together, she promised sweetly. Lin Yang puffed out his cheeks adorably. You promised. Feeling an itch, he asked, Master, what's wrong with my face? Ningning waved a dismissive hand. It's just a little sensitive. It'll clear up in a few days. Don't worry. You're filthy. Go take a bath, she said, wrinkling her nose in mock disgust. Emboldened by her indulgence, Lin Yang, still in his smaller form, pleaded, Master, can you bathe me like you used to? Later, as she groomed the small white dragon in the bath, Ningning remarked, You're getting bigger, aren't you? I just noticed. A mischievous glint appeared in Lin Yang's eyes, and Ningning had a bad feeling. I think I know what he's about to do. As if on cue, he thrashed in the water, sending a spray of bubbles and water flying. Lin Yang, she shrieked, squeezing her eyes shut. Stop that. Lin Yang, however, continued to giggle, thoroughly enjoying himself. Suddenly, little Black Bear pounded on the door. Master, someone's here to see you. Or rather, a demon is here to see you. Lin Yang shifted back to his adult form, a playful grin on his face. Master, who could it be? Could it be the Yilu fellow? Before he could finish, Ningning was already halfway out the door. Lin Yang, get dressed, she called back, slamming the door behind her. Outside, Ningning approached Yili's servant. Feigning confusion, she asked, I haven't delivered the herbs from last time yet. Why are you here to retrieve a gift? The servant replied, The city lord is concerned about the blemishes on your face. He sent this large pearl from the southern sea. Grind it into powder and apply it to your face. It should heal within a few days. Ningning grimaced, deep in thought. This Yilu is trouble. I'm not some 1,000-year-old demon's plaything. He's completely infatuated. Behind her, Lin Yang radiated a palpable aura of jealousy. Little Black Bear struggled to restrain him from marching forward and confronting the servant. Calm down. Master said we can't reveal ourselves. If your asthma flares up from the demonic energy, it'll be worse. Lin Yang fumet. Gifts. What is there that Lin Yang, can't afford for her? That Yilu doesn't need to be flaunting his wealth. Finally, the heavens smiled upon them, and the servant departed. The door swung shut. Lin Yang, arms crossed, pouted and confronted Ningning. Yilu is still bothering you, isn't he? Do you like him? Ningning threw her hands up in exasperation. What are you talking about? I'm just a cultivator with a sealed core, not some lovesick fool. She wondered inwardly, why do I even care? I'm supposed to be tormenting him for my master. Lin Yang's small face immediately retorted, Then who do you like, master? Put on the spot. Ningning coughed awkwardly. Master, well, I'm in hiding right now. I don't dare to like anyone. I just want to settle my scores and avenge my wrongs. Hearing this, Lin Yang's face darkened. If only I could defeat Yilu. If only I could help Ningning refine the stag's horn pellet and unlock her core sooner. Then things wouldn't be like this. Time passed. A month later, in the garden, little Black Bear bowed respectfully. Master Ningning, I wish you good health. The grass grows tall, the birds fly south. It's the 3rd month of spring in Jiangnan. He paused, confused. Wait, my crow is in Jiangnan. Ningning extended her hand, as if examining something invisible. The grass grows tall, the birds fly south. Let me see. Little Black Bear perched a bean sprout on his head and listened intently. Ning Ning continued, "My disciple went to Jiangnan to expand the waterways for the medicinal herbs. It's truly not the same here. He saw the houses and gardens there and thought I would like them. What is that boy doing all the way in Jiangnan?" Suddenly, a stranger burst through the door. Well, not quite a stranger. It was the two demons who had previously harassed Ning Ning, the dark-skinned one and the pot-bellied one. The dark-skinned demon sneered, "Long time no see, little white flower. You're not afraid of us anymore, are you? Got the Ghost City Lord backing you up now." "Don't get cocky," Ning Ning retorted. "Don't think that just because the Ghost City Lord has taken a shine to you, you can cause trouble." Ning Ning couldn't hold back any longer. "May I ask, how am I causing trouble by running a smaller business here?" Little Black Bear cowered behind her. The pot-bellied demon continued. "The demon lord's favorite concubine was found dead in the swamp. We heard you're a suspicious character with a mysterious background. Naturally, we're holding you accountable." Ning Ning scoffed. "Accuse me of murder. Do you really think the demon lord will believe that? He hasn't even bothered to hide the fact that he doesn't know me." She added defiantly, "And frankly, anyone who falls into the demon lord's hands gets what they deserve. I wouldn't surrender meekly." Ning Ning was shocked. The stone demon's signature move, preying on people's fears. The dark-skinned demon roared, "Guilty conscience. Seize her. Take her to the demon lord's manor. We'll be rewarded handsomely." Knowing the situation was dire, Ning Ning grabbed Little Black Bear and jumped into a nearby well. "Catch her," the demons bellowed, seeing their prey escape. Little Black Bear clung tightly to Ning Ning as they plummeted downwards, both screaming in terror. Luckily, they crashed through the thick canopy of a tree before hitting the ground with a thud. They were bruised and sore, but alive. But the fall was enough to frighten Little Black Bear into a wailing fit. "I want to go home. Mommy won't be able to find me," he sobbed. Suddenly, a sharp claw lunged towards them, silencing Little Black Bear mid-cry. A male spider demon reached out, snatching Little Black Bear as a hostage. Terrified, the small bear whimpered, pleading with Ning Ning. "Master, help me." "Wah!" Ning Ning cried out in alarm. Little Black. The spider demon, having secured his captive, sneered menacingly. "Trying to run, little lady. The stone demon lord is looking for you. Be a good girl and come with me to the demon lord's manor. It'll save you a beating." Ning Ning, feigning compliance, said, "All right, I'll go with you. Just let Little Black go." The spider demon, surprisingly, released Little Black. "That's a good girl," he chuckled. Little Black Bear scrambled to the ground, still trembling with fear, his sobs echoing in the air. Once Little Black was free, the spider demon's 8 spindly, black legs twitched. Little Black Bear managed a choked warning, "Master Ning Ning, behind you." But it was too late. Ning Ning felt a sharp, searing pain. Turning, she saw the demon's sharp leg embedded in her own leg, blood blooming crimson against her skin. Biting back a cry of pain, she thought, "This is bad. So much for my escape plans." The spider demon retracted his blood-soaked leg, his voice cruel. The demon lord gave the order. "Anyone who resists will be killed." Before he could do anything more, a wave of demonic energy enveloped him. The spider demon cried out in pain, his head throbbing. "Who?" Yalu, once again playing the hero, swept in, scooping the injured Ning Ning into his arms. "Are you all right?" he asked solicitously. "It's all my fault. I haven't visited in so long. Are you hurt?" Ning Ning stared at him, her face pale. Him again. After checking on Ning Ning, the Ghost City Lord turned to the spider demon. "This young lady belongs to me. I'll take her. Another day, I'll personally bring her to the Demon Lord's manor and explain everything." At the spirit spring of Mount Tian, a lone figure with white hair stood by the tranquil lake, muttering to himself. "Why hasn't Master Ning Ning replied?" Lin Yang gazed at his reflection in the water, worry etched on his face. Could it be she saw the letter? Did she find out I'm studying at the immortal sect? Is she angry? A gentle breeze rustled through the trees as Elder Wang Shu approached. "Brother Lin Yang," he said softly, "if you've chosen this path of cultivation, have you considered taking me as your master?" Lin Yang stood up. "Thank you for your kind offer, Elder, but the token is too precious. I've already taken a master elsewhere. In my heart, I only acknowledge her as my teacher." Wang Shu sighed. "You're so insistent on joining a minor sect. However, Mount Tian has always valued talent. You have a natural gift for medicine. I will guide you." He continued, his voice kind, "Come with me to Shui Fu Manor tomorrow. We'll study and refine medicine. This seclusion will last 5 years. You could bring your family to Mount Wention. Lin Yang politely declined. There's no need. My family isn't accustomed to life in Jiangnan. He thought to himself, as long as I make good use of the time difference between the demon realm and the human realm, Master won't find out. He pondered his plan. Although he'd come to Mount Wention under the guise of seeking the Jade Lotus, if he could also cure his asthma, wouldn't that be killing two birds with one stone? Lin Yang dogged optimistically. Besides, Master Ningning was always clever. Surely, nothing too troublesome would arise. With that thought, he readily agreed. Thank you, Elder Wang Shu, for your dedicated instruction. The weather that day was beautiful. The sky was a clear, vibrant blue, and the sun shone brightly, yet gently, casting a warm, comfortable glow over everything. A small bird, clutching a letter in its beak, wasn't having such a pleasant time. Rocks, darts, and even small knives were hurled at it, forcing the terrified creature to swerve and dodge frantically. The arrogant voice of a child rang out. Catch it! The speaker was a young boy, only 10 or 11 years old, but he was by Song Jing, the chief disciple of Taoist Master Yuheng. His status fueled his arrogance as he pointed, commanding, "Pluck all its feathers for me." Finally, a well-aimed stone struck the small bird, nearly knocking its eyes out. The letter tumbled from its beak and fell into a nearby river. The bird, with a growing lump on its head, let out a pathetic chirp, tears welling in its eyes. Not far away, another shared the bird's distress. Little Black Bear paced anxiously, whimpering. "Oh no, it's been days, and Big Brother still hasn't replied to my letter." In another realm, the sky was perpetually dark and silent, regardless of day or night. A faint, waning crescent moon hung in the sky, offering little illumination. This was the realm of ghosts. Ningning sat by the window, gazing at the moon and sighing mournfully. "How much longer do you intend to keep me here? When will you let me go?" "Yale, sitting behind her, similet menagingly." Why don't you go back to your little house and see if you can still live peacefully? He raised a small wine cup, taunting her. "Or, if you want to return to your little husband, I can send someone to find him and reunite you two." His sarcastic tone sent a shiver down Ningning's spine, and sweat beaded on her back. She forced a laugh. "Little husband, that was just a fleeting encounter. You truly want to protect me, City Lord." Yula didn't deny it. He suddenly moved closer, whispering, "Of course. You've shown such affection for me. How could I let that stone demon lord, Meng Shou, defile you?" Ningning, looking at him, couldn't help but wonder if she truly possessed such captivating beauty that Yalu would risk offending Meng Shou for her. She pushed him away slightly. "City Lord," she stammered, "I don't dislike you, but I have my own aspirations." "You want me to dismiss all my concubines?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. Yalu lunged towards her again, a smirk playing on his lips. "Well then, are you willing to enjoy this fine evening with me?" Ningning's hand began to turn blue, and she cried out in pain. Seizing the opportunity, Ningning wriggled away, desperate to escape the situation. "I truly apologize, City Lord," she stammered, "but I'm a snake demon. Throughout the year, there are certain times when travel is inconvenient. It's my shedding season." Yalu, frustrated at missing his chance, scowled. "How inconvenient? When will you recover?" Ningning offered a weak smile. "It's hard to say. It depends on the individual demon. We shed 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes even a dozen. It's the price we pay for taking human form before our cultivation is sufficient." He smirked, unwilling to let her off so easily. "Very well. It seems it's not yet time. I'll play with you later. Just stay put." Ningning batted her eyelashes sweetly. "Then I'll have to rely on your kindness, City Lord." Despite her words, she was inwardly triumphant. 15 days later, in the human realm, within the vast expanse beyond the capital's walls, a small bird flew towards its destination. It carried a peach blossom branch, placing it gently in Lin Yang's hand. He spoke softly. "I truly hope Master Ningning can celebrate with me, but I haven't yet obtained the Jade Lotus to unlock her demon core. The oath remains unfulfilled. I have no right to see her." The bird chirped in response, as if understanding his words. Looking up at the sky, Lin Yang pondered. She must have received my letter at Xianmen's sect and, in her anger, moved. Now I don't know where she is. He thanked the small sparrow. "I hope Master will return one day and see the letter I wrote." Closing his eyes, a heavy feeling settled in his chest. "I've been here so long, always from Master Ningning. Does she understand?" Suddenly, Tao Wei appeared, fanning himself playfully and teasing Lin Yang. Lin Yang, are you in such high spirits that you're visiting the pleasure houses? Annoyed by the interruption, Lin Yang pushed a bottle towards him dismissively. Here's your medicine. Tao Wei looked surprised. Aphrodisiacs. Lin Yang calmly denied it. Think what you will. It's medicine to increase your cultivation and refine your inner strength. Doesn't your father always look down on you? Tao Wei scoffed. Cultivation. Immortality. I find this world of flowers much more appealing. It's a world of delight and pleasure. Taking a sip of hot tea, Lin Yang retorted, there's no such thing as an unromantic youth. Someone used to say that to me. It's not about winning or losing, but about surpassing. Tao Wei tilted his head, poking Lin Yang with his fan. You're strange. Every day, I see you practicing abstinence and refining medicine. I've never seen you with a girl. Could it be you're still pining for your childhood sweethearts? Caught off guard, Lin Yang blushed and turned away. Don't be ridiculous. Knowing he'd won this round, Tao Wei grinned. You like older women, don't you? Perfect. Let me show you something good I just got. Holding a book, Lin Yang felt his mind short-circuit as he read the lines. Master gently removes her robes, revealing half of her jade-like back, her posture graceful. What is this about, Master? He stammered, slamming the book down in embarrassment. Nonsense. If your father sees this, he'll hang you up and beat you. Tao Wei cackled, enjoying his friend's discomfort. Beat me. It's our Xianmin sect that's too conservative. Female masters can't take male disciples. Otherwise, I'd be enchanting my master every day. This book is full of such scenarios. Stories of deceiving one's master and betraying one's sect. It's a shame I can't use them. Still bewildered, Lin Yang asked, what do you mean? Tao Wei, growing more animated, explained this master character is aloof and arrogant and loves to lecture others. If one could bet her, wouldn't that be a life well lived? Isn't that right? A sense of enlightenment washed over Lin Yang as he looked at the book in his hand. Deceive one's master, betray one's sect, so it can be like this. Meanwhile, back in Yali's realm, two of the city lord's attendants trailed Ningning, pleading, my lady, please return soon. The city lord will punish us if he sees you wandering about. Ningning didn't bother to turn around. Go on, tell him whatever you like. But where I go is none of your concern. You wouldn't dare stop me. Sitting in the withered herb garden, Ningning felt a pang of sadness. The medicinal herbs she had planted 6 months ago had long since wilted. Thinking she couldn't hear them, the attendants began to gossip. She has such a fiery temper. Only she would dare to anger the city lord. Who does she think she is so favored? The city lord even fought the demon lord to protect her. That snake demon sure has some tricks. Ningning, however, never let anyone bully her. With a mischievous glint in her eye, she picked up a caterpillar. She flicked the caterpillar towards the gossiping attendants, causing them to shriek. Bored with their antics, she added, why don't you just leave? The city lord won't be coming here for a couple of days anyway. Wouldn't he be happier not seeing me? Flustered, the attendants quickly excused themselves. Yes, my lady, we'll take our leave. With a sly smile, the cunning snake demon retrieved a small jar. Let's see what little black bear has been hiding. Inside were a jumble of letters. Ningning immediately recognized them. These are Lin Yang's letters to me from the past 6 months. The letters overflowed with affection, softening her gaze and bringing a gentle smile to her lips. This fool, I only helped you escape slavery because I had to. A soft sob escaped her, and a single tear traced a path down her cheek. She whispered, Lin Yang, I miss you too. Suddenly, her eyes caught something on one of the letters. Wait, how old does Lin Yang say he is now? Seeing the large, bold 18 written on the page, Ningning's mind raced. I forgot about the time difference between the human realm and Snake Demon Mountain. I've only been imprisoned by Elu for 6 months, but Lin Yang, he's already grown up. He's 18 this year. Next year, he'll ascend to immortality by killing me. Panic rising, she frantically read through the letter she had missed. Master, I've been away from you for a year. Your disciple is trying to find the perfect plan to help you break the seal on your demon core. Master, please forgive my disciple's presumptuous actions. Master Ningning, your disciple always remembers your teachings. The infiltration of Tian Peak is going smoothly. Ningning gasped, her blood running cold. What? He infiltrated the immortal sect. Ningning clutched the letter, her thoughts turning icy. According to the Xianmin sect's rules, a 19-year-old divine dragon returns to godhood. Isn't that implying I'm not far from death? Lin Yang should have stayed obediently in the mortal realm. If he insists on ascending, I won't show mercy. Little Black Bear suddenly emerged from the bushes, greeting her cheerfully. Master Ningning, you're back. Startled by the interruption, Ningning cried out. Little Black Bear noticed the letter in her hand and cautiously approached. He explained in a small voice, well, I don't know many characters yet, and Big Brother's writing is so beautiful, so I kept the letters. Ningning placed a hand on his head, stroking it gently, but the expression on her face was terrifying. She probed, you didn't tell Big Brother that I'm being controlled by someone else, did you? Little Black Bear smiled innocently. Master Ningning told me not to tell, so how could I? I also know Big Brother can't beat the Yulu guy. If I were to tell him, the consequences would be unimaginable. Ningning mused, impressed by Little Black Bear's surprising foresight. She resumed her gentle demeanor, settling back onto the rock. Little Black Bear circled her, curiosity bubbling within him. Unable to contain his inquisitiveness, he finally asked, did that Ghost City Lord agree to let you go? Ningning replied softly, he's not that kind. I've only just recovered from my leg injury, so I snuck out here. I have to go back soon. Upon hearing this, Little Black Bear threw himself at her, wailing dramatically. It's all my fault. If it weren't for saving me, poor Master Ningning wouldn't have to suffer such humiliation at the hands of that vile man. All this injustice and misery. Ningning lightly tapped him on the head. Don't be ridiculous. Who said I'm suffering under Yulu? Besides, this has nothing to do with your big brother Lin Yang. Little Black Bear offered no further argument, only continuing to whimper softly for a few more moments. His melancholy was short-lived, however, as he quickly brightened, asking excitedly, by the way, Master Ningning, do you want to see Big Brother? Meanwhile, Lin Yang was relaxing in a tub of water when a small sparrow, as if following a familiar route, flew smoothly into the room and perched beside him. Immediately, an image of Little Black Bear appeared, and the young boy's cheerful voice rang out. Big Brother Lin Yang. Lin Yang exclaimed in surprise, hey, Little Black. He asked with concern, how have you been lately? Mother's been making me practice painting and calligraphy again. I finally have some free time today, so I wanted to see you. Little Black Bear then turned to Ningning, calling out, Master Ningning. Hearing her name, Lin Yang excitedly moved closer to the reflecting image, his heart pounding. She's back. Seeing Ningning's menacing glare, as if threatening to flay him alive, Little Black Bear could only close his eyes and blurt out a lie. She just arrived and then left again. She said she wanted to surprise you. Hearing this, Lin Yang couldn't help but stand up in joy. Really? Does this mean she's forgiven me? The small sparrow, caught off guard by the sudden movement and overwhelmed by the sight before it, blushed crimson, collapsed, and began gushing blood from its nose. Even if I die today, it thought, I'll have no regrets. However, their conversation was abruptly cut short. Little Black Bear, bewildered, exclaimed, why did Big Brother's screen go black? He turned to see Ningning pinching her nose, which was also bleeding profusely, and muttered, wow, being too handsome is a crime. Back in the Ghost City, Yulu, having somehow learned of her outing, confronted Ningning. I hear you went back to the Peach Blossom Courtyard today. Ningning didn't bother hiding it, replying directly, I missed home and wanted to visit. What's it to you? You don't intend to let me go, do you? These words seemed to strike a nerve with the city lord. He placed a hand on her shoulder, his voice laced with menace. Give up on escaping. Sooner or later, you'll be mine. Yulu pulled her closer, his voice rough. There's no time like the present. But as he looked down at what he held in his hand, his expression shifted, confusion clouding his features. Snake skin. Ningning feigned embarrassment, twisting and turning uncomfortably. City Lord, I'm shedding again. It's been happening rather frequently lately. Even Yulu, despite his usual indulgence towards her, couldn't help but scowl. He gripped her wrist, his voice dark. Are you doing this on purpose? Seeing his reaction, Ningning wasn't afraid. On the contrary, she was secretly delighted. Good, he's angry, she thought. She sprawled dramatically on the bed, feigning a defiant nonchalance. If the city lord is displeased, I can't help it. I'll just obediently stay here. Tonight, the city lord can do whatever he pleases. Yulu knew she was playing games, but he was outmaneuvered. Fuming silently, he spun on his heel and stormed out of the room. Two of Yuli's attendants entered, relaying his orders. Madam Ningning, one began formally. The city lord has decreed that if you are unwell, you are not to leave your chambers. Please rest here. It was house arrest, plain and simple. Ningning betrayed no emotion, replying simply, very well. Thank you. I am indeed unwell, and I wouldn't want to frighten you. From now on, just leave my meals at the door." The attendants bowed their heads. "Yes, we obey." With that, they quietly closed the door behind them, leaving Ningning alone. Once they were gone, she retrieved her shed snake skin, a sly smile spreading across her face. "I knew Yalu would react this way," she thought. "Once angered, he'd confine me, preventing me from leaving or receiving visitors." Ningning had crafted a straw doll and, using her shed skin and imbuing it with her demonic energy, created a perfect replica of herself. The doll was indistinguishable from the real Ningning. "The past 6 months haven't been wasted," she mused, a glint of triumph in her eyes. "Let me show you the art of snakeskin disguise." She carefully placed the disguise doll on the bed. If this works, she thought excitedly, escaping the city will be a piece of cake. Ningning pulled out several more pieces of snakeskin from her sleeve, addressing her doppelganger. "Huh, I prepared so many skins. I wonder which one you'll prefer." "Disciple, master is coming." With that, she slipped silently out of her room, concealing herself behind the bushes. Listening to the coughing sounds emanating from within, she expertly avoided the attendant's notice and made her escape. At the foot of Jinxiu Peak, Bai Songjing plotted against Lin Yang. "Are you sure this plan to frame him will work, like you said last time?" he asked his accomplice. The other man replied confidently, "Absolutely. Lin Yang may appear refined and composed, but he's actually quite the ladies' man, just like that young master from the Detian sect, Tao Wei. He's always mooning over someone, whereas the aloof, noble air of a cultivated genius that the masters talk about." The accomplice continued, his voice dripping with false reassurance. "Don't worry. I've arranged for a highly skilled courtesan, an expert in seduction. I'm confident they'll play their part perfectly." Bai Songjing sneered, a malicious glint in his eyes. "Good. This time, we'll finally expose his true nature to the masters." Meanwhile, during a lesson, the teacher slammed a stack of books onto the table, glaring at Lin Yang. "Are you still asleep?" In the middle of the day, Lin Yang quickly stood up. "Forgive me, master. I couldn't sleep last night, thinking of my family. I apologize for my inattention during this morning's lesson. I know I was wrong." Bai Songjing seized the opportunity to sow discord. "Master," he interjected, "he may be the top scorer in this year's examinations, the #1 genius of Jinxiu Peak, but how can he possibly be expected to listen attentively to your lectures?" The teacher frowned. "And what of it if he's top of the class? Does he truly understand the ancient scriptures?" Lin Yang responded, "I have read all the assigned texts and have some understanding of the principles within. Sometimes when my emotions are turbulent, my understanding of the scriptures deepens. Please forgive my apparent boredom, master." "Bored, am I?" the teacher roared. "I'll test you. If you can't answer, don't think copying it 100 times will suffice. 10,000 times would be more like it." Bai Songjing, eager to see Lin Yang humiliated, chimed in, "Teacher, test him. If he gets a single answer wrong, don't let him leave this classroom." The teacher's fury now turned on Bai Songjing. "And who are you to tell me what to do? Do you think this is some marketplace? How dare you instruct your teacher? You stand up. I'll test you too." Meanwhile, outside, Ningning chuckled to herself. "Bukoi sukuvivid dang sa," she thought, roughly translating to, "Not bad for a leading lady." Shedding her snake skin really does conceal her demonic aura. Changing her appearance and infiltrating as a kitchen maid, that little brat will never recognize me. Nearby, 2 female cultivators gossip. "Is it true? Senior brother actually dared to provoke Master Dao Fa, and the master was left speechless." The other replied, "It's true." Master couldn't argue back. Senior brother even accused him of deviating from the scriptures. Ningning thought to herself, he can't even handle a little academic debate. Such strict discipline from a young age. Too bad not all masters are as lenient as me. The brown-haired cultivator asked, "Tell me, how did senior brother deviate from the scriptures?" The other replied, "He said all beings are equal." That completely contradicts Master's teachings about the 3 realms and 6 paths and the cycle of reincarnation. The brown-haired cultivator gasped, "Heavens, he dared to say such a thing. Then what's the point of us slaying demons and upholding the Tao?" Ningning, engrossed in their conversation, was startled by a rabbit hopping past, creating a loud rustle in the bushes. "Who's eavesdropping?" one of the cultivators shouted. Ningning had no choice but to emerge from her hiding place. The black-haired cultivator interrogated her. "We've never seen you before. Are you trying to sneak in?" "Who are you?" Ningning replied smoothly, "I'm the new cook. I saw some wild herbs here and wanted to gather them for a new dish." The brown-haired cultivator was suspicious. We're hardly starving to the point of eating wild herbs. You are acting suspiciously, sneaking around. We should take you to the disciplinary hall to verify your identity. Suddenly, Lin Yang appeared, stopping them. Wait, Ningning's heart pounded. Why was he here? Why did she always run into him in these awkward situations? The two cultivators immediately complained. Senior brother, you're just in time. This girl is suspicious, acting strangely and eavesdropping on our conversation. Look, she even grabbed my hand so hard it's red. Lin Yang gently rebuked them. Are you in the same class as junior sister Hua? I understand your desire to protect the sect, but as cultivators, how can we raise our hands against an ordinary, defenseless person? It's unbecoming. The black-haired cultivator protested. I didn't hit her. Senior brother, do you know her? Why are you defending her? Lin Yang turned to Ningning and addressed the two cultivators. I'll escort her to the disciplinary hall. You two should go ahead. The two cultivators refused to leave. Senior brother, Lin Yang tried to scare them off. Isn't class still in session? The teacher is already angry with me. If he sees you arriving late, he'll take it out on you. Hearing this, the two cultivators quickly ran off. Left alone with Ningning, Lin Yang spoke gently. The disciplinary hall is under strict scrutiny lately. Some demonic faction sent a challenge letter, threatening to steal the Luojia pill, so the sect is on high alert. Please forgive any offense. Ningning nodded. Thank you for your help, young master. I'll be going now. Farewell. Suddenly, Lin Yang stopped her. Wait. He reached out, as if to remove a leaf from her hair. Ningning froze. This kid, she thought, surprised. He's gotten so tall, and why am I feeling nervous? She stepped back, but in doing so, she tripped on the hem of her own robe. Seeing her about to fall, Lin Yang rushed forward to catch her. Lin Yang pulled her into his arms. He froze, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. This young woman, she looks so much like someone I know. Ningning blushed, thinking what's happening. I haven't even started my seduction, and this disciple is already making a move. As Lin Yang steadied her, his hand brushed against her waist, and a familiar scent reached him. Ningning, recognizing the dawning realization in his eyes, pushed him away. You, what are you doing? Are all the disciples of Wen Tian Peak this impertinent? He had recognized her. Joy flooded his features. So this is the surprised little black bear mentioned, he thought. Ningning, however, paled. Young master, unhand me, or I'll call for help. Lin Yang quickly released her. I apologize. I didn't mean anything by it. Could you wait a moment? I want to pick some herbs for this wound. He pointed to his forehead, feigning a pitiful expression. Look what I got myself into today. Master hit me with his ruler. This bump still hurts. Ningning, her heart softening, asked why. Why did your master hit you? Why didn't you dodge? He replied, he said I haven't fully grasped the 6 paths, that everything has its boundaries. If I continue to cross the line like this, a great calamity will befall me. Ningning thought to herself, that's not necessarily true. You'll eventually understand. Lin Yang obediently bent down, allowing her to apply the herbal remedy to his forehead. He whined playfully, ow, that stings. I still don't know your name. Ningning replié, Aliu. You can call me Alu. He smiled. Aliu, what a lovely name. Ningning felt a twinge of unease. The atmosphere felt charged. Could Lin Yang be this easy? He didn't even resist me. Does he like every girl he meets? Meanwhile, Lin Yang, having received the letter she'd sent, exclaimed with childlike delight, finally. I finally received Master's letter. But then, confusion clouded his features. That's odd. She's already here. Why would she send a letter? Dismissing the thought, he began to read aloud. Master fears that your prolonged stay at the immortal sect, while ostensibly to find the Luojia pill for me, truly signifies your allegiance to them. Now, you must commit an act of betrayal against your master and sect. Only then will I forgive you. Lin Yang blinked, rereading the passage. Betrayal against my master and sect. He murmured, perplexed. The next morning, Ningning entered with a bowl of congee. Seeing her disciple diligently meditating, she remarked, my, chanting the cleansing heart mantra so early in the morning. Such dedication. Lin Yang, hearing her approach, slowly opened his eyes. Seeing it was her, his face flushed crimson. He stammered, Why you? Why are you here? Inwardly, he wondered, why has Master Ningning come to the immortal sect? Is she really just concerned about my well-being and come to visit? Ningning tilted her head, feigning innocence. Senior brother Lin Yang, I wanted to thank you for yesterday, so I made you some congee. You haven't had breakfast yet, have you? Eat it while it's still hot. It's lotus seed kanji. He gratefully accepted the bowl, a wide smile spreading across his face. Alu, why did you make lotus seed kanji? I haven't had it in ages. I missed it so much. He took a large mouthful. Ningning watched intently as he swallowed. Then, a sly grin spread across her lips. Delicious, isn't it? I added a few special ingredients. With that, she lunged forward, pushing him onto the bed. Lin Yang, bewildered, cried out, "What are you doing?" The sly little snake teased Lin Yang. "Senior brother, we haven't known each other long, and I'm about to leave. My parents are calling me home to marry someone else." Lin Yang, seemingly unfazed by her advances, simply blushed and asked, "What are you doing?" Ningning, emboldened, pulled open his robe, revealing his firm, toned chest. With a mischievous glint in her eye, she purred, "So before I leave, I want to create a lasting memory." Just like that, Lin Yang found himself pinned beneath his master. A black silk ribbon covered his eyes as he heard her whisper, "Senior brother Lin Yang, just pretend nothing happened today. Let Alu do as she pleases, just this once." A chuckle escaped his lips. He reached out, capturing her hand. "You started this," he murmured. Lin Yang leaned in, pressing a kiss to the sensitive skin of her neck. The kiss deepened, catching Ningning off guard. He pulled off the blindfold, reversing their positions, now pinning her beneath him. Ningning, flustered by this unexpected turn of events, stammered, "What are you doing?" "I'm warning you, don't try anything funny." Her face burned crimson. "What's going on?" She thought frantically. Why isn't Lin Yang unconscious? Isn't that potion supposed to knock him out instantly? He acted as if oblivious to her inner turmoil, whispering in her ear, "Didn't you say you wanted to create a lasting memory?" "I'm just trying to satisfy you." Ningning weakly protested, "You've misunderstood. I just wanted to see your abs." Lin Yang, amused by his master's adorable expression, laughed. "Alu," he teased, "I was just joking. Are you satisfied with my physique? If you want to touch them, I can take my shirt off again." "Ha!" She sat up, shoving him away. "Get off." Ningning, thoroughly embarrassed, turned and stormed off without a backward glance. Lin Yang, realizing he'd gone too far, quickly straightened his clothes and called after her, "Alu. Alu, wait. Don't go." And so, the entire sect witnessed a strange sight, the likes of which they had never seen before. Their proud and aloof senior brother Lin Yang was desperately chasing after a woman, while the woman in question, fuming, muttered, "Stop following me." The other disciples watched in astonishment. Senior brother Lin Yang is chasing a girl. What's going on? They whispered amongst themselves. Seeing the two emerge from Lin Yang's room, his robes clearly disheveled, Hua Qing, who had been secretly observing, felt a pang of jealousy. Who is this woman seducing brother Lin Yang? She seethed, consumed by rage. She drew her sword and charged towards Ningning, screaming, "You hussy! How dare you enter senior brother Lin Yang's room? What are you plotting?" Before Ningning could react, Lin Yang roared, "Hua Qing." With a flick of his wrist, he sent her sword flying. He shielded Ningning protectively, ensuring not a hair on her head was harmed. Despite being unharmed, Ningning was startled. She turned, glaring at Hua Qing. She even dared to draw her sword. "This girl is vicious. She's not worthy of my disciple," she thought indignantly. Having dealt with Hua Qing, Lin Yang gently helped Ningning up, his voice laced with concern. "Are you all right?" The crowd, witnessing the escalating situation, suddenly cried out, "The sect leader is coming." Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, Ningning quickly made her escape. "I'll be going now," she said, already plotting her next move. "If I can get this boy expelled from Wentian Peak for his romantic entanglements, this whole ordeal won't have been a waste." Lin Yang nodded, "Ading, Aurig. Wait for me to come back." Back in her room, Ningning resumed her true appearance, her gaze fixed on the shed snakeskin. "This won't work anymore," she mused, tapping a finger against her chin. "I'll need a new plan." Meanwhile, at the Neihin Pavilion, bathed in a crimson glow, laughter and merriment filled the air. "Come on, senior brother. You've been locked up for 10 days. Drink up and wash away your bad luck." Lin Yang calmly declined. "Didn't you say we were discussing the workings of the formation tonight? If you've changed your mind, I'll take my leave." Inwardly, he sighed. "If I can't break the Detion sex formation, how will I ever get the Ligia divine armor? I can't stand waiting another second." Chao Wei and the madam, flanking him on either side, urged him to stay. "Where's the rush?" Chao Wei slurred, clearly intoxicated. "You've finally been released. We have to celebrate." The madam chimed in, her voice dripping with honey persuasion. "Indeed, young master. I personally brewed this peach blossom wine. You simply must try it." Lin Yang, his mind elsewhere, wore a melancholic expression. He missed Ningning terribly and had no idea where she was. Suddenly, Chao Wei's face flushed. "What's this?" he stammered, feeling a sudden heat. Lin Yang, also sensing a shift in the atmosphere, glanced behind him. A captivating woman, dressed in alluring attire, swayed gracefully on a nearby flower-adorned pillar. The melodious music accentuated her seductive movements and haughty beauty. Her exquisite jewelry glittered, and her mesmerizing gaze settled on the two men. Oblivious to Lin Yang's growing discomfort, the madam continued to ply him with wine. "Young master, have another drink," she urged, remembering young Master Bai's instructions to keep him occupied. The woman on the pillar glided towards them, her small feet patting softly against the floor. She leaned in close to Lin Yang, causing him to blush. "Is Ningning testing my resolve?" he thought. "I won't let anyone have their way with my disciple." He grabbed her hand, startling her. "Young master," she began, but his expression darkened as he angrily questioned her. "I can't believe you're so multi-talented. Who are you trying to impress with that dance?" Sweat beaded on her forehead as his words struck a nerve. One alu wasn't enough. Before she could finish, Lin Yang scooped her up in his arms. "Young master, put me down," she cried, alarmed. "We'll rest here tonight," he declared. "Where's your room?" Upon entering, he tossed her onto the bed. Seeing him approach, Ningning quickly tried to stall him. "Young master, it's still early. Let's talk and get to know each other better." He ignored her pleas. "Let's get straight to the point," he murmured, his voice husky with desire. "I want you to know how much I've missed you." Before she could react, he captured her lips with his own. A gasp escaped her as they kissed, their bodies entwined. Finally breaking away, he watched her catch her breath, her face flushed with a mixture of embarrassment and arousal. Even she had forgotten her original purpose. "Why am I here again?" She thought hazily. "Right, to use the puppet to examine my disciple's body, not me." Lin Yang, now on top, took a leisurely sip of wine, a plan forming in his mind. "Master Ningning never drinks," he thought. "I'll test her." Ningning could only watch as he leaned in once more, his lips seeking hers. The cool wine flowed into her mouth, causing her to cough, a delicate pink blush deepening on her cheeks. Refusing to be outdone, she wrapped her arms around his neck. With a sudden surge of strength, she flipped them over, pinning him beneath her. Flushed but defiant, she demanded, "You little rascal. You dare run away from your master." He countered, forcing the truth from her. "You didn't run away at all. Didn't you say you were finding the Luojia divine armor from Master Ningning? Don't you remember?" The wine began to take hold, her bravado faltering as intoxication clouded her senses. I believe you," she slurred. "You're clearly trying to ascend to the heavens and become an immortal. You think I don't know?" He looked at her, bewildered. "Become an immortal? When did I ever want to become an immortal? I haven't." At his denial, Ningning playfully pummeled his chest. "Yes, you do. You're the top student at the heavenly gate. Isn't that because you want to ascend to the 9 heavens?" He retorted, "Who says? I just work hard, and it's easy for me to advance. Can't blame me for that, can you?" Her playful punches intensified. "It is your fault." Seeing her anger, Lin Yang tried to appease her. "All right, master, you're right. Tell me, why are you here looking like this?" She smiled sweetly, her hand slowly removing the hairpin from her hair. "Because..." She slammed the hairpin into the pillow beside his head, startling him. "I don't allow it," she declared. Unfazed, he challenged her, "Why not?" She leaned in close, her voice a whisper. "Why so many questions? Are you not listening to your master anymore?" He coughed, feigning obedience. "But what if I'm determined to ascend?" Her face, sharp and alluring, held his gaze. Her hands trailed across his body, a seductive invitation. "Then this old lady will ruin your purity. I'll corrupt your pure young body and see if those old-fashioned immortals in the 9 heavens still want you." A mischievous glint entered her eyes. "Yes, I'll ruin your innocence and see if those ancient immortals still desire you." Lin Yang, trapped beneath her, could only stare in disbelief. So, Master Ningning wanted to keep him in the mortal realm. Why was she so afraid of him achieving enlightenment? Was she willing to go this far to prevent his cultivation? But then, she did something completely unexpected. She pulled out a wooden puppet, excitedly showing it to him. "Look, I prepared so many figurines for you. Just wear my snake skin, and you can transform into a human form." Completely intoxicated, she pressed against him, her words tumbling out. "I'll use it it to break your body. Then your cultivation will progress faster, and I'll have some peace and quiet. Lin Yang was so taken aback by her words that he couldn't even respond. Before he could utter a word, she collapsed on top of him, fast asleep. Panicked, he caught her. Master, he murmured, cradling her sleeping form. Do you know how much you disappoint your disciple? He spent the rest of the night in a state of bewildered contentment, holding his drunken master close. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the window, a new day began. Ningning instinctively clung to the soft warmth she was holding. This pillow is so warm, she murmured, oblivious to the muffled groans coming from beneath her. Stop fidgeting. It wasn't until a piercing scream shattered the morning stillness that she jolted awake. Scrambling back, she clutched the blankets around her, putting as much distance as possible between herself and the bewildered Lin Yang. What are you doing here? She demanded, still reeling from the shock. He played along, leaning into her apparent amnesia. Han Zhao, my dear, have you forgotten everything? Ningning, utterly confused, tried to piece together the night's events. Right? I'm not Ningning right now. I'm Kan Zhao, and I spent last night with him. She looked at him, bewildered. What did we do? Lin Yang, embracing his role with theatrical flair, blushed like a bashful maiden. We did a lot, he stammered, feigning embarrassment. Do you want me to tell you the details? His words hit Ningning like a thunderbolt. Had she truly slept with her disciple? Suddenly, a commotion erupted outside the door. Xiao'er's voice rose above the din. Hold on. Even the magistrate needs a reason to arrest someone. You can't just barge in here. A woman's imperious voice cut through the air. Out my way. Do you know who I am? You dare stop me from apprehending this degenerate. The noise escalated, and Lin Yang, not wanting to complicate matters further, quickly dressed. He turned to Ningning, who was still frozen in shock. Excuse me, I have to go, he said, before leaping out the window. He landed gracefully, looking back up at Ningning. Perhaps fate will bring us together again, miss, he called up to her. Though our time together was brief, I won't forget you. As he disappeared, Ningning's eyes fell on the wine jug on the table. Ah, she exclaimed, realization dawning. He got me drunk and tricked me. Meanwhile, hidden inside a training dummy, Lin Yang coughed weakly, feigning exhaustion. I hear someone accuse me of seeking pleasure, he muttered. If only I had the energy. He was surrounded by concerned onlookers. A physician took his pulse and reported, Young master, you've been ill for a long time. This relapse could be due to the weather or stress. Elsewhere, Wang Shou confronted two elders. Lin Yang has been frail since childhood. That's why he followed me to this desolate peak to cultivate. After years of arduous training, he finally earned a place in the Jinxiu Pavilion, ready to dedicate himself to the righteous path. And now, someone dares to slander him. The elders expressed their disbelief. The boy can barely leave his bed. By Song Jing accusing him of debauchery. Preposterous. The other elder agreed. Let's find him and get to the bottom of this. The physician, after conferring with Lin Yang, produced a small vial. I concealed this earlier out of respect for you, junior brother, he said softly. You are a gifted cultivator, but your pulse, you experienced intense desires last night, didn't you? The physician's discerning eyes saw through Lin Yang's facade. Such powerful desires cannot be easily quenched, he continued. The surge of energy clashed with your weakened body, triggering your asthma. You brought this upon yourself. Lin Yang, defeated, bowed his head. Truly a master physician, he admitted. You see right through me. He didn't want to make things difficult. Feigning illness is one thing, he sighed, but you can't actually trigger a relapse. You'll be the one to suffer. As for now, I'll send someone to administer acupuncture later. As dusk settled over the small courtyard, a hushed voice broke the silence. Senior brother, Hua Qing entered, her face stained with tears. I acted rashly that day. I lost control in front of everyone and let them mock you. Senior brother Lin Yang, I was wrong. I was released just now and came straight here to apologize. Lin Yang, weary of her theatrics, simply nodded. It's all right, as long as you understand that resorting to violence is wrong. Undeterred, she continued, everyone saying that senior brother Lin Yang lost his bed-warming maid and went back to that place. She trailed off, her voice laced with insinuation. Brother Lin Yang, seeing him turn away, seemingly indifferent, Hua Qing rushed forward and clung to him. Actually, Qinger is all grown up now, she whispered, her voice trembling. I can be more than just your little sister. If only brother Lin Yang. Before she could finish, the window swung open, interrupting her dramatic confession. Ningning stood framed in the opening, a faint scar visible on her cheek. She coughed delicately, taking in the scene. Ahem, I'm the one sent by the medical sect," she announced, "to deliver medicine to senior brother Lin Yang." Lin Yang seized the opportunity to dismiss Hua Qing. "Qinger," he said gently, "why don't you go back now? It's time for my acupuncture." But she refused to budge. "I won't go. I need to take care of senior brother Lin Yang." Ning Ning, growing impatient, arched an eyebrow. "Oh, will you be helping him undress and bathe him later, too?" Hua Qing's eyes widened in indignation. "And you," she retorted, "you're clearly a woman. What right do you have to stay?" Ning Ning couldn't help but laugh. "Medicine recognizes no gender," she replied smoothly. "Perhaps senior sister Hua isn't a true healer." Defeated, Hua Qing flounced out, muttering angrily, "You're neither man nor woman. I'm relieved to leave brother Lin Yang in your care." Ning Ning entered the room to find Lin Yang soaking in a medicinal bath, his face pale and drawn. She was taken aback. Last night, at the flower pavilion, he'd been full of energy. Now, he looked utterly depleted. Maintaining a calm facade, she masked her inner turmoil. If Lin Yang has become this reliant on stimulants, she thought, then the 9 trials of the immortal ascension are out of the question. Once his asthma is cured, I'll leave this place and be rid of him. Lin Yang, sensing her silence, broke the stillness. "This medicine is making me restless," he said. "Talk to me. Distract me." Ning Ning approached slowly, her expression thoughtful. What to talk about? She recalled their shared past 15 years ago when he was just a child. "I took him in when he was barely hatched. I wasn't particularly kind to him, either making him earn money or teaching him to steal. How can that compare to the upbringing of an esteemed immortal cultivator?" She mused sadly. She dipped her fingers into the medicinal bath, her mind still adrift. 15 years in the mortal realm, so much has happened, not to mention the Luojia garden. How could he possibly have forgotten? Ning Ning scooped up some of the bathwater and poured it back into the tub, feigning casualness. "So," she began, "what was all that about with senior sister Hua? I heard you two are about to be engaged. You'll scare her off." Lin Yang looked at her, astonished. "Me and her? How could that be?" He softened his voice. "We grew up together, but Hua Qing's temper has worsened over the years. The more you try to appease her, the more arrogant she becomes. I can't let it continue." Feigning disinterest, Ning Ning continued her probing. "Could it be because senior brother Lin Yang has taken a liking to Lu, the cook?" Inwardly, she sighed. "So much for childhood sweethearts. They're no match for a destined partner." Aloud, she mused, "So that's how it is. It's a shame Lu's destined partner was incinerated by me." Lin Yang didn't answer directly, only murmuring, "How can I explain this?" Ning Ning pressed on. "No, then perhaps it's that courtesan from the rumors." Lin Yang remained silent. Ning Ning jumped to a conclusion. So it was love at first sight. He neither confirmed nor denied, only letting out a strangled sound before being overtaken by a coughing fit. He clutched his chest, groaning inwardly. "Master, you're trying to kill me." Seeing his distress, Ning Ning suddenly remembered something. "Oh, I almost forgot. I have a special pill here that can treat asthma." She offered him the pill. After swallowing the pill, Lin Yang's condition worsened. He cried out in pain. Alarmed, Ning Ning thought, "What's happening?" She turned towards the door. "Wait here. I'll go find the elder physician from the medical sect." Before she could reach the door, Lin Yang lurched out of the bath, his weakened body collapsing against her. They both tumbled to the floor. In the haze of his delirium, Ning Ning heard her disciple whisper, "Don't go, Master Ning Ning. Stay with me. Please, don't go." She blushed, bewildered. How did he know it was me? Before she could confirm her suspicions, he lost consciousness. Pushing aside her confusion, Ning Ning rushed to his side. "Lin Yang." Sensing his labored breathing, she rationalized the situation. He must be delirious. But worry gnawed at her. He's exhaling more than he's inhaling. This isn't just asthma anymore. Desperate, she took a deep breath. Supporting his head, she leaned down and pressed her lips to his. Their warm mouths met, and she carefully transferred her breath to her disciple. Despite the blush creeping up her cheeks, his life was paramount. Suddenly, the door burst open. A group of disciples from the Wantian Peak stormed in, catching them in the act. "What's going on here?" Hua Qing, her face contorted with rage, was the first to react. A glass vial shattered on the floor, its contents spreading like a stain, mirroring Hua Qing's fractured composure. Glaring at Ning Ning, she ignored Lin Yang's unconscious form. "You dare harm senior brother Lin Yang. You're audacious." Ning Ning knew their current predicament was difficult to explain, but she could only stammer, "No, it's not. It's not like that." Hua Qing refused to listen. Pointing accusingly, she yelled to her fellow disciples, "Seize her." A chilling whistle cut through the air. Each lash of the whip left a shockingly bright splash of crimson. Hua Qing stood inside, gripping the other end of the whip, her righteous facade a stark contrast to the brutal scene. Recently, there have been whispers of demonic activity. The treasured artifact of our sect, the Whispering Bell, has been stolen. Rumors say they plan to attack the Wantian Peak. I sensed something strange about you last night. Confess. Ningning, bound by thick chains that bit into her flesh, answered defiantly despite her wounds. I told you. He stopped breathing. I was saving him. Believe it or not. The whip lashed out, tightening around her neck. Hua Qing refused to listen. Lies. She shrieked. You saw senior brother Lin Yang suffering an asthma attack and took advantage of the situation. Suddenly, a crash echoed through the room. Lin Yang burst in, his eyes wild. Seeing Ningning bound and bleeding, he roared, Hua Qing, stop. Who gave you permission to use torture? Ningning looked up at him weakly. Why are you here? Lin Yang's hands trembled as he untied the whip from her battered body. I'm sorry, he choked out. I'm late. Hua Qing froze, staring at the tenderness in Lin Yang's eyes, a tenderness she had always craved, now directed at another. Jealousy twisted her features. Why? She whispered, her gaze venomous. Why would senior brother Lin Yang defend this ugly woman? Just like that harlot Alu. Lin Yang pulled Ningning close, shielding her protectively. He turned to Hua Qing, his eyes glacial. For every lash you landed on her, you will receive 3 in return. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a wave of spiritual energy. 3 strikes landed on Hua Qing, sending her sprawling. The physical pain was nothing compared to the shattering of her heart. She coughed up a mouthful of blood, but even in her agony, her hatred wasn't directed at Lin Yang. It was all for Ningning. Senior brother Lin Yang. She sobbed, why would you hurt me for an outsider? Lin Yang's face remained impassive. I should have disciplined you sooner, Hua Qing. Your arrogance knows no bounds. You disregard even the sect rules. Report to the disciplinary hall for your punishment. If you refuse, consider our bond severed. He gently lifted Ningning into his arms, a flicker of warmth in his eyes. It's all right, he murmured. I'll take you away from here. Hua Qing lay crumpled on the ground, unable to rise, unnoticed and uncared for. Lin Yang carried Ningning back to his room. Don't move, he instructed softly. Then, a teasing glint entered his eyes. Your memory is short, isn't it? Weren't you just saying physicians don't differentiate between men and women? Shy now. Ningning shifted away, pulling the blankets tighter. I'm not shy, she retorted. Lin Yang dropped the teasing. He retrieved a small jar of ointment. Hua Qing's whip was laced with a special herb. It's best to apply this antidote. Otherwise, it will be quite uncomfortable. Ningning's body ached, and her mind was a whirlwind of confusion. This whole day has been one torment after another. I can't let my guard down. Lin Yang's lips curved into a gentle smile. I'll apply it to your back. You can manage the rest, right? Ningning, flustered, could only nod. Ningning removed her robe, revealing the crisscrossing welts on her back. Trying to break the charged silence, she asked, were you really all right last night? Lin Yang's touch was gentle as he spread the ointment. It was the elder physician's mistake, he replied. You shouldn't have put that particular medicine in my medicine chest. There are so many. Lin Yang lowered his eyes, his expression turning serious. Don't use dragon whisker as a medicinal primer anymore. I'm allergic to it. Also, you can omit 1 or 2 strands of golden coin grass. Too much will cause adverse effects. He paused, but before he could finish, Ningning realized something. This isn't the formula for my medicine, is it? He smiled. It's a good formula, but everyone's constitution is different. It's best to try a small dose first. As if remembering something, Lin Yang brought up the previous night. By the way, how did you save me last night? They said you were quite bold. The mention of the incident brought a blush to Ningning's cheeks. Ningning turned away, flustered. It was nothing, just saving someone. Don't overthink it. Lin Yang, displaying a newfound mischievousness, leaned closer, his voice a low murmur. Could you teach me this rare medical technique? Startled, Ningning recoiled. No, and you're so shameless. Truly, you fall in love with everyone you meet. I've broadened my horizons today. You really have a talent for flirting. Having said this, Ningning remembered why she had come. This isn't right. Why am I talking about this? The dragon god, descending to the mortal realm, is a good thing. So why do I feel? Seeing her anger, Lin Yang wisely retreated, holding up his hands in a placating gesture. No, you misunderstand. Suddenly, someone burst into the room without knocking. Lin Yang, I know how to break the profound ice formation. But upon seeing the scene within, Tao Wei backpedaled out of the room, waving his hand with a knowing look. Oh, I see. Enjoying your 3 days of bliss. Not so happy about being taken advantage of by an ugly woman last night, are we? Ningning bristled. Who are you calling ugly? Lin Yang stepped in to defend her. She's my lifesaver. Show some respect. Now, what were you saying about the formation? Tao Wei nodded. Of course, once the Merit Pagoda is activated, the deer antler pill will be yours, and the 100 beauties glaze tile will be mine. So, Ningning, who had been quietly listening, couldn't help but feel a pang of unease. So Lin Yang wasn't just talking. He was actually putting effort into stealing the deer antler pill. Ningning scratched her chin doubtfully. But is that pig of a teammate, Tao Wei, reliable? Outside, Bai Songjing arrived with a group of disciples, looking for trouble. Lin Yang, I thought you were on your deathbed. Seems your spirit is still quite lively. Tao Wei turned, wary. What do you want? Bai Songjing unfurled a scroll, his voice pompous. There's been news recently of some demonic sect coveting our sacred artifacts and planning to attack Wantian Peak. Everyone in the sect is concerned. We all want to protect the Heavenly Observatory Tower, taking 4-hour shifts. Lin Yang, aren't you the star pupil of Jinxiu Pavilion? How about you patrol for 3 hours? Wouldn't that be tiring? Tao Wei understood his intentions. You're just trying to cause trouble and implicate my brother. We wouldn't even have time to sleep. Lin Yang's eyes narrowed, a plan forming in his mind. Perhaps I can use this opportunity of feigned compliance to get the deer antler pill. That way, Master Ningning won't have to wear that mask and keep up the charade. Thinking this, he clapped Tao Wei on the shoulder and shook his head. Just do your best. The next morning, Lin Yang left only a short note. Your wounds haven't healed. Stay here. Wait for me to return. Ningning anxiously watched the sky, her heart restless. She couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Lin Yang wasn't fully recovered. What if something happened to him? Just then, Tao Wei burst in, dropping to his knees and begging Elder Wang Shou for help. He can't breathe. He's covered in wounds, still bleeding. Lin Yang's trapped in the Chinquan formation. Save him. Elder Wang Shou frowned. What happened? Bai Songjing sneered, a smug look on his face. This Lin Yang, even standing still, he causes trouble. Truly, having enemies at home can be useful. Elder Wang Shou glared at his disciple. If you're responsible for assigning guards to the formation, you're also responsible for their safety. He grabbed Bai Songjing by the collar. Come with me. We're going to save Lin Yang. Bai Songjing, though unwilling, couldn't refuse. He could only sputter in protest. Ningning, her lips pressed together, watched them intently. Then, she leaped into the air. Misjudging her trajectory, she crashed into Bai Songjing. He yelped in surprise. Ouch. He turned, scowling. Little healer, are you trying to get yourself killed? What are you doing here? Ningning rubbed her aching head. You're the one to talk. This is your fault. Elder Wang Shou didn't waste any time. He quickly reached the wall and opened the barrier, revealing a rickety wooden bridge spanning a river of molten lava. Tao Wei's eyes widened in fear. You don't mean we have to cross that, do you? Elder Wang Shou frowned. Stay close to me. He explained, half an hour ago, Tao Wei here collapsed, struggling to breathe. He was chasing after Lin Yang. Tao Wei, still shaken, pleaded, Brother Lin Yang, let's go back. If we continue into the second layer of the formation, we'll likely die here. Lin Yang Rifu said, we come this far. We can't go back empty-handed. Tao Wei, feeling dizzy, leaned against the wall. This isn't good. This isn't good at all. There are too many traps in this formation. Fire, water, it's just not good. Suddenly, a giant mirror appeared before them, surrounded by thick chains as wide as a grown man's arm. Lin Yang, his curiosity piqued by the powerful spiritual energy emanating from the mirror, floated towards it. What is this? He reached out to touch it. Tao Wei suddenly realized what it was. He yelled, don't touch it. That's the mirror of past lives. But it was too late. The mirror pulled Lin Yang in with an irresistible force. Tao Wei could only cry out, Brother Lin Yang. Surrounded by a thick, swirling mist, Lin Yang suddenly found himself dressed in elaborate, embroidered robes. He stared down at himself in astonishment. When did I get these clothes? He turned, taking in the surrounding scenery, graceful cranes gliding through the air, a fresh, floral scent on the breeze. A sense of nostalgia washed over him. This place, it feels so familiar. Nearby, 2 young celestial attendants diligently swept fallen leaves, chattering amongst themselves. Ever since Shiwan, the dragon god, was dragged down to the 9 hells by the serpent demon, there's been no news. Hasn't the Jade Emperor sent celestial soldiers and generals to search for Lord Dragon God? I'm sure they'll find him soon, the other attendant chirped. The first one continued, a worried frown creasing his brow. But it's been so long. Do you think Lord Dragon God might be gone? The second attendant brandished his broom threateningly. Spit, don't you dare curse Lord Lin Yang, God of War. Careful, or I'll kick you down to the 9 hells yourself. The first attendant cowered, quickly backtracking. All right, I'm wrong. Lin Yang overheard their conversation, his ears picking up the key phrase. Lin Yang, God of War. He glanced around at the beautiful landscape, a crane soaring against the azure sky. In the distance, the serpent demon, none other than Ningning from his past life, popped a crimson red lotus pill into her mouth, her expression defiant. Don't get cocky, Dragon God. Once I digest this red lotus pill, you'll be no match for me. Shiwan, the dragon god, now Lin Yang, lunged at her, unleashing a fierce attack as she knelt on the ground. Don't even think about it, he roared. But it was too late. The serpent demon had already absorbed the pill's power. A visible transformation swept over her. A golden lotus mark appeared on her forehead, radiating crimson energy. She cried out in pain, then, with a sudden burst of speed, pounced on Shiwan, pinning him to the ground. She sank her fangs into his neck, drawing a groan of agony. A smear of his blood remained on her lips, dripping onto his hand. She looked at him triumphantly. Careful now, she hissed. This venom isn't pleasant. If I die, you won't survive either. Lin Yang, furious but helpless, could only glare at her, his body beginning to succumb to the poison. Paralyzed by the venom, he gritted his teeth, his gaze burning with hatred. You unrepentant even in death. He cursed. The serpent demon, using her deadly poison, had crippled Shiwan, the dragon god, causing him to regress into a dragon egg. The serpent demon's own cultivation plummeted by centuries. And in a cruel twist of fate, they were both cast down to the same realm. The scene shifted back to the present. Lin Yang, now remembering his past life as Shiwan, the dragon god, brought a hand to his face, his memories flooding back. So, he thought, you wanted to break my pure yang body because you were afraid I'd return to the celestial realm. You knew all along. He stumbled forward, his hands still covering his face in disbelief, struggling to breathe, to keep himself from falling apart. Serpent demon, he gasped, if you drag me down to the mortal realm, you'll have to take responsibility. Then, he lost consciousness, collapsing onto the ground. The scene changed again. Now, they were traversing a bridge over a river of flowing lava. By Songjing Shai, the fire. It's so hot. I'm going to die. I'm going to burn. Elder Wang Shou, exasperated, used his horsetail whisk to secure by Song Jing, preventing any rash actions. These are illusions. He snapped. They're meant to scare you. And so, the three of them continued their precarious journey across the bridge, the fiery lava churning beneath their feet. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, as if something massive were about to collapse. By Song Jing, ever the coward, shrieked Elder Wang Shou. Are you sure this is an illusion? That giant statue is about to fall on us. Ningning frowned, a sense of unease washing over her. Lost in thought, she didn't notice the falling boulder until it was almost upon her. I never expected such a profound mechanism within this tower, she mused. Why is it so aggressive? By Song Jing, seeing the imminent danger, simply stood frozen, yelling like a banshee. He tried to dodge, but in his panicked scramble for survival, he bumped into Ningning. Instead of apologizing, he shoved her aside with an arrogant sneer. Out of my way. This young master cannot die. I can't die here. His push sent Ningning stumbling, her balance lost. She tumbled off the bridge, plummeting towards the churning lava below. Elder Wang Shou reacted instantly, flinging his horsetail whisk towards her. Ningning reached out, grasping for the lifeline. But it was too late. With a sickening splash, she plunged into the molten rock. Wang Shou and Bai Song Jing watched in horror as Ningning's hand, the only visible part of her, flailed desperately amidst the bubbling lava. Wang Shou quickly deactivated the illusion. The terrifying scene vanished, leaving Bai Song Jing to realize the illusion had ended. So it was fake. He breathed, relief flooding his face. His reprieve was short-lived. Elder Wang Shou, his patience worn thin, delivered a resounding slap across Bai Songjing's face. You idiot! Wang Shou roared. The falling statue was an illusion, but the lava was real. Bai Song Jing, clutching his cheek, still didn't understand his mistake. But she's just a lowly medicine disciple. He whined. Why does it matter? Besides, she insisted on coming along. Suddenly, Bai Song Jing pointed ahead. Look, it's Lin Yang. A disciple rushed into the courtyard, his voice filled with urgency. Venerable Wang Shou. It's terrible, terrible. Wang Shou turned sharply. What is it? The disciple, breathless and panicked, delivered his report. The demonic soldiers and the demon beast legions have joined forces. They're marching towards Wantian Peak. What are we going to do? Venerable one. Wang Shou handed the unconscious Lin Yang to the disciple. Quickly, activate the strongest barrier around the mountain and send out a distress signal to the other sections. Gather as many reinforcements as possible. We must hold them off. Meanwhile, submerged in the molten lava, a pale golden lotus flower began to coalesce beneath Ningning. Unaware of this strange phenomenon, she felt only the frantic pounding of her heart. So hot, she thought hazily. A fragmented memory surfaced. A woman in azure robes sat upon a high dais, her gaze cold and indifferent. I hear that Shi Wan, the so-called dragon god, was once a mere snake, she said dismissively. Only through fortunate circumstances and a favorable destiny did he ascend to become the dragon god of the 9 heavens. The woman was none other than Tang Shi, the serpent demon. Slamming her wine cup down with a resounding crack, she declared, Shi Wan and I share the same origins. If he can attain enlightenment and become a revered god, why can't I, Tang Shi? Her subordinate, the Lion King, hastened to flatter her. Your Highness speaks the truth. You are the supreme ruler of Snake Demon Mountain. What is there that you cannot obtain? With a single command from you, your loyal subjects will follow you to conquer the 9 heavens. Shi Wan, the dragon god, is no match for you. Tang Shi, pleased by his words, tilted her head back and drained her cup in one gulp, then tossed it aside with an air of imperious grace. With a dramatic sweep of her arm, she commanded generals, heed my command. Follow me as we conquer the 9 heavens. Ningning jolted awake from the distant memory. The searing lava swirled around her, as if awakening a dormant power within her. Crimson flames surged towards her, the crimson sea bubbling furiously, threatening to consume everything in its path. A pair of delicate feet stepped down, adorned with exquisitely embroidered silk shoes, their intricate floral patterns dazzling. She emerged from the lava, stepping back on a solid ground, her appearance transforming back into the breathtaking beauty of Tang Shi, the serpent demon. Ningning's face was impassive, her eyes downcast, seemingly indifferent to everything around her. Suddenly, she found herself face to face with an unexpected figure, the ghost city lord, Yilu. Both were startled, their eyes meeting in surprise. Yilu was the most astonished. He furrowed his brow, asking Tang Shi. Seeing her face, another memory unlocked within Tang Shi's mind. It was an ordinary day, and Yilu had appeared, his mind filled with wicked intentions. Tang Shi, he had said, his voice dripping with false admiration. Your beauty rivals that of the celestial maidens in the heavens. Even more beautiful, more captivating than those heavenly nymphs. She had responded with a dry chuckle. You speak as if you've been to the heavens. Then, she continued, however, I don't care to be compared to those celestial maidens. But if we're talking about fighting prowess, they might not be my match. The ghost city lord had approached her, taking her hand, his tone full of flattery. Tang Shi speaks the truth. Therefore, if I could ever catch your eye, to have you lower yourself to me, Yilu, it would truly be a blessing cultivated over 3 lifetimes. But Tang Shi remained unmoved. She pulled her hand away, snapping, don't be impudent. We are merely allies, joined by mutual benefit. I seek the power of your ghost city to unite the demon and monster realms. Only then will I consider this union. Don't you dare entertain any other thoughts. Yilu had lowered his head, gritting his teeth, his expression hidden in shadow. Of course, this city lord understands, Your Highness. You have far-reaching plans. Suddenly, a sinister smile spread across his face. Uniting the demon and monster realms, how amusing. With such grand ambitions, Your Highness, surely you must have some interest in the celestial realm. Why not unite all 3 realms? Reviewing these memories, Ningning finally understood. The original tongue, she had been used by Yilu. Suddenly, a clear, crisp clap echoed through the air. The Ghost City Lord, Yalu chuckled. Truly, the heavens are on my side. Tung Shi, I knew you could control this crimson lotus karmic fire. Ning Ning, fury burning in her eyes, demanded. So it was because of your provocation that Tung Shi attacked the 9 heavens. What is your scheme? Yalu dropped the pretense. Why, you didn't stay put in my ghost city, but ran off to the celestial realm to play. Why didn't you say so sooner? I could have brought you here myself. Ning Ning tensed. You knew my true identity all along. He replied, just a few small, accidental discoveries. For example, your scales are different from other snake demons. And then, there's the Due Tian sex mark behind your neck. Not to mention the crimson heart pill within your body. Yalu extended his hands, his ambition laid bare. Indeed, I've been waiting for this moment. Ning Ning's gaze turned icy. Channeling the power of the crimson lotus karmic fire, Ning Ning roared, Yalu, I don't care what you're plotting. I've endured you long enough. Today, I will kill you. The rhythmic pounding of war drums filled the air. At the head of the demon horde stood a man in azure robes. He was the new king of Snake Demon Mountain, Shou. He announced his arrival with flamboyant arrogance. The Ghost City Lord speaks of the countless treasures of the celestial sex, treasures that can boost one's cultivation overnight. Hand them over, and I may spare your lives. Taoist Yu Hung retorted furiously, such impudence. A mere dream devourer dares to dream of encroaching upon the sacred grounds of the celestial sex. Shou scoffed, pulling out a bamboo flute. You dare underestimate me. I'll show you my power. He put the flute to his lips, playing a melody laced with demonic energy, a bewitching enchantment. Yu Hung, the first to react, urgently warned, cover your ears. Protect your minds. Don't let your thoughts wander. The other disciples, lacking sufficient strength, were already lost in the illusion, murmuring, my sweet, little, yet-to-be-wedded wife. Our house looks so lovely. Yu Hong slapped his forehead in frustration, the memory of being seduced by a fox demon 15 years prior flashing through his mind. Shameful. How could I entertain such thoughts? Suddenly, a strange object plummeted from the sky, a searing inferno like a falling meteor. In an instant, it obliterated the surrounding landscape, leaving only devastation in its wake. Shou, engulfed in flames, roared, where did this fire come from? As the smoke and dust cleared, a fierce battle between a man and a woman was revealed. They clashed with earth-shattering force. A disciple of the celestial sect gasped, who is that woman in red? How dare she fight the Ghost City Lord? Yalu unleashed a wave of demonic energy, a swirling vortex that threatened to consume the flames before him. Suddenly, a powerful beam of azure light shot forth, repelling the attack. The Ghost City Lord recoiled in surprise, looking up to see another formidable presence intervening in the battle. The cultivators began to piece together what was happening. Someone else has arrived. Lin Yang pressed his lips together, his expression cold and detached, as if the world around him were merely a fleeting illusion. As the powerful forces dissipated, the disciples of Wantian Peak, momentarily stunned, erupted in cries of recognition. Look, everyone, it's senior brother Lin Yang. Ning Ning, oblivious to her own injuries, gazed at him with unconcealed joy. Lin Yang, it's so good you're all right. Yelle staved in disbelief. He couldn't comprehend how Lin Yang, the dragon god, could possibly be a disciple of a celestial sect. Ning Ning urgently grabbed Lin Yang's hand, pulling him towards escape. You must leave. This dark, demonic energy isn't something you can contend with. Lin Yang, silent until now, felt a surge of unspoken emotions. Ning Ning had truly changed. She was genuinely concerned for his safety. A strange impulse to tease her arose within him. Do we know each other? Why are you so concerned for me? Ning Ning paused, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. Why does Lin Yang's demeanor feel different? She wondered. Below, the other celestial disciples roared with excitement. Isn't that senior brother Lin Yang? He's provoking the Ghost City Lord. He dares to challenge him directly. Indeed, he's worthy of being a celestial disciple, the most naturally gifted in over a century. Yelle beloit in fury. You insolent brat, come and fight me then. What gives you the right to touch my woman? Ning Ning's mind reeled. His woman. Who is he talking about? Without a word, Lin Yang unleashed a surge of celestial energy towards the Ghost City Lord. You think you can stand against me? He sneered. Bai Song Jing, unable to contain himself any longer, flailed his arms wildly from below. Elder, everyone look, that woman in red is with Yalu, and Lin Yang is involved with her. Something is definitely amiss. We must apprehend them all and interrogate them thoroughly. Lin Yang abruptly reached out and grasped Ningning's wrist. Startled, she asked, "Are you really going to capture me?" He smiled faintly. "Indeed. So, you're not planning to run away." No one knew what Lin Yang was thinking. He turned to Ningning, a gentle smile gracing his features. "I know you mean no harm," he said softly. "So, leave this place now." With a gentle push, he sent her falling from the sky. The woman in red descended gracefully, her auburn hair cascading around her like a fiery waterfall. It was a beautiful sight, yet somehow it tugged at the heartstrings. Ningning's eyes remained fixed on Lin Yang's face, a hint of longing in her gaze. She thought of the days spent on the celestial mountain, shedding 3 layers of snake skin and still not having truly recognized her little disciple. She landed lightly on her feet, safe on the ground. She looked back towards the gates of Wantian Peak, a heavy feeling settling in her chest. Separated once again, she wondered when they would meet again. Yalu, surrounded by swirling demonic energy, muttered darkly to himself, "I originally intended to seize the dragon god's power to enhance my cultivation, but now I no longer need it." He landed on the ground, his voice cold. "Retreat. I am tired." Sherming Shou, feeling humiliated, protested angrily. "What are you doing? This is my first campaign. I was supposed to unleash carnage and shake the heavens. Yalu, how can you just give up halfway through?" The Ghost City Lord, Yalu, felt a wave of boredom wash over him. He turned, a faint smile playing on his lips. "How utterly tedious, Sherming Shou. If you wish to play, then by all means continue. I, however, have a wife to pursue." From within the ranks of the Wantian Peak Elders, a voice rang out. "Are we simply going to let those demons and monsters escape? And what about that young woman? Shouldn't we pursue her?" Lin Yang looked up puzzled. "Which young woman?" Elder Wang Shou, who had been preparing medicine, paused and turned. "That unsightly girl, of course. Weren't you the one insisting she belonged to our medicine sect?" He scowled at Lin Yang. "You've never been an honest one, have you?" Unwilling to answer, Lin Yang deflected the question. "It suddenly occurs to me, weren't you the one who insisted I tell the Chow family about? Well, you know, I nearly got poisoned because of that." He paused, a sly grin spreading across his face. "Wasn't it because you added too much mercury and cinnabar to the alchemical furnace?" Elder Wang Shou froze, his face flushing crimson. He coughed abruptly, trying to mask his embarrassment. "That was ages ago. Why burn it up now?" Regaining his composure, he gestured towards the pill within the box. "The medicine you requested is ready. However, I'm afraid I can't hand it over just yet." Lin Yang raised an eyebrow. "Why not?" Elder Wang Shou held up the box containing the gleaming golden pill. "This dragon horn pill is a supreme grade immortal elixir, a true treasure. Wantian Peak's prized artifact needs an upgrade. I must report this to my superiors first." Seeing this, Lin Yang sighed dramatically. Young Master Chow just left the Heavenly Ascent Tower. What if something happens to him? His old illness could relapse, you know. Without another word, Lin Yang snapped the lid of the box shut and offered a dazzling smile. Elder Wang Shou clicked his tongue in exasperation. You're getting more and more impudent with age." At Snake Demon Mountain, Ningning pounded frantically on Black Bear's door. "Little Black Bear, open up. It's Ningning." There was no response. Dejected, she lowered her hand. "I can't stay here any longer. Yalu and Sherming Shou won't let me go easily. And I can't leave little Black Bear here for Yalu to find." The door creaked open, revealing Black Bear's mother. "Ningning, what happened? Why are you in this state?" Little Black Bear, spotting her, cried out joyfully, "Ningning Shifu." Ningning's eyes widened in alarm. "Little Black Bear," she said urgently, "do you remember your elder brother mentioning a clinic he established in Jiangnan?" The next morning, in Siping Town, a man's hand reached out to take her pulse. The hand, it turned out, belonged to a certain dragon who had slipped in unnoticed. After examining her, Lin Yang withdrew his hand, a troubled expression on his face. Fortunately, this red lotus karmic fire hasn't taken your life. However, the red lotus pill has taken root in your heart. Ningning stirred in her sleep, murmuring softly. Lin Yang's thoughts were consumed with worry. This infernal fire, it will shorten her lifespan. He gently placed his hand on her forehead, lost in thought. And Tangshi's demon core is still sealed. If she encounters a powerful enemy, she'll only be able to access a fraction of her power. Feeling the warmth beside her, Ningning's eyes fluttered open. "Am I dreaming?" she murmured, the sensation of his hand on her skin so real. Her eyes widened as she took in his dazed expression. Startled, she smacked him on the head and grabbed Seven Star's leg, yelling, "Little Black." The boy, broom in hand, flung the door open. Ningning Shifu, what is it? Seeing Lin Yang in the room, Little Black Bear dropped his broom and rushed towards him, ignoring Ningning's bewildered state. "You're finally awake," he exclaimed joyfully. I thought we wouldn't see each other again." Pointing at him, she questioned Little Black Bear, "Is this some kind of trick? Little Black, why aren't you chasing him out?" The boy looked at her as if she'd lost her mind. "Master Ningning, are you daft? Last time, when Chirp flew into Elder Brother's room, didn't you see him bathing? How can you not recognize him now that he's put his clothes on?" Her bluster deflated. Embarrassed, she covered her mouth with the blanket, coughing awkwardly. Don't talk nonsense." Ningning's heart pounded with guilt. If Lin Yang could single-handedly stand against Yulu, what would happen if he discovered the absurd things she'd done to him after infiltrating the celestial sect? Forget their master-disciple relationship. She might even lose her life. Suddenly, he knelt beside the bed. His voice was soft. "Master, it's been a long time." Flustered, she stammered. There's no need for such a grand gesture." Ninning tried to calm herself. "Don't panic. Treat him with the proper respect a master should show their disciple. Just pretend we really have been apart for 15 years. She forced a smile. My, how you've grown." Master was momentarily blinded and didn't recognize you. That's why. She hesitated, swinging her legs off the bed, searching for an excuse to escape. "Come on, Little Black, stay with your elder brother. I'll make you some treats." But Lin Yang gently pushed her back down. He turned to Little Black Bear, a gentle smile on his face. "Little Black, why don't you go help Master Ningning? I have something to discuss with her." The boy obeyed, raising his hand in acknowledgement. "Yes, sir." With the boy gone, Lin Yang sat on the bed. "Master, it's been over 15 years. Won't you talk to your disciple?" She responded hesitantly. "All right. Master also wants to know how you've been all these years." Ningning turned her face away, her conscience pricking her. "He's not here to settle old scores, is he? Shedding my snake skin and donning the guise of a celestial disciple. I haven't treated him too badly these past few years, have I?" Suddenly, Lin Yang opened a box, revealing a gleaming pill. "Master, eat this." Ningning stared at it, shocked. "You reckless disciple. What am I supposed to do if I eat this? Won't all your years of effort in the celestial sect be wasted?" Seeing her anger, Lin Yang looked disappointed. "Master, have you never considered that I infiltrated the celestial sect for you?" He remembered her excitedly touching his body before. Sighing, he closed the box. "Just how afraid were you of me ascending and achieving immortality, Ningning? But you're right. Without you, I probably wouldn't have fallen into the mortal realm." She's changed. If this were the serpent demon of the past, she would have swallowed it without a word. She scolded him, not amused. "What's so funny? Take the pill back. I don't need you to steal it from me." But Lin Yang continued to smile, holding the pill. "I'm smiling because Master Ningning still has a conscience. You still care about your disciple." He leaned closer, gently lifting her chin. Startled, she stammered, but before she could finish, Lin Yang leaned in and used his tongue to push the pill into her mouth. A coughing fit followed. Swallowing the pill, Ningning thought miserably, "I'm doomed. I've already taken the Six Senses pill. Now I owe this disciple of mine an enormous debt. And how dare he do that to his own master?" Lin Yang calmly raised 3 fingers. "Ningning, I swear to heaven, before, now, and in the future, I, Lin Yang, have no desire to ascend to immortality." Hearing this, she bolted upright. "Lin Yang, what nonsense have you learned at the celestial sect? How can you so casually discard the words master?" He confirmed, with a bright smile, "It's true. I don't want to be your disciple anymore." Ningning's heart lurched. This is bad. Not a disciple. Does he want to become my sworn enemy? He moved closer, solicitously supporting her. "Ningning, are you unwell? Let me massage you." Suddenly, Little Black Bear yelped. Seeing them sitting intimately on the bed, the little boy covered his face in embarrassment and ran off. Lin Yang sighed softly. "I have to go. I came to Siping Town on official business. A few days ago, a strange object fell from the sky on a jade plaza, but from beginning to end, no one could find it. Master, do you remember when I was little? You found me there." Ningning asked curiously. "Of course I remember. What fell this time?" She thought to herself, "It seems like all major calamities like to fall on a jade plaza, and it's the place where the celestial sect can legitimately enslave little demons." Unexpectedly, Lin Yang smiled and extended an invitation. "Ningning, Would you like to come with me? Revisiting our old haunts could be interesting. Think about it. Why were you and I at Jade Plaza in the first place? Ningning felt uneasy. Why is he starting to reminisce about the past? Could he be remembering something about his true origins and seeking revenge? She stammered, I don't have any memories from back then, and I don't want to go there at all. Lin Yang simply said, it's all right. We'll talk after you remember. He turned to leave. Watching his retreating figure, Ningning thought, Lin Yang is so powerful now. I have a feeling that if this dragon god were ever provoked and suddenly recovered his original memories, it wouldn't be impossible. But if he recovered his memories, why would he give me the pill? Suddenly, he turned back, waving cheerfully. Goodbye, master. Rest well. She turned away abruptly. I'm definitely overthinking things. Just then, little black bear appeared, excitedly asking, Master Ningning, can I ask you something? She replied absently, What is it? The boy excitedly recounted, Just now, my mother said you might be expecting. I'm so curious. Is the baby in your belly the Ghost City Lord's or my elder brother's? Her face darkened. She pinched his chin threateningly. I hear bear paws are delicious no matter how they're cooked. How about we have that for dinner tonight? Fried, stir-fried, steamed, or roasted? You pick. Little black bear hid fearfully behind his mother. No, please spare me, Master Ningning. His mother spoke up, try to smooth things over. Children's words, don't take them to heart. There's a legend in Siping Town. 15 years ago, a snake demon wreaked havoc here and kidnapped a very handsome baby boy. After the snake demon raised the little boy to adulthood, it couldn't escape the fate of sucking his blood dry. Ningning's eyes narrowed. Now that the shackles are broken, she woke up in a house where a mother was scolding her child. If you don't behave, I'll tell the snake demon to come and get you tonight. Seeing the little girl crying in fear, clinging to her mother, she promised, I'll be good from now on, Mommy. Can you please tell her not to take me away? The mother, turning pale, stammered, Yes, yes. At that moment, Ningning looked down at her present form in bewilderment. Her own body and a snake's tail. She gasped, I just fell asleep. How did I wake up like this? The villagers below cried out in fear, urging each other, hurry, go inform the cultivators at Jade Plaza. Soon after, Ningning used a teleportation spell to transport herself to a dense forest. She breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, I figured out how to get to the mountains. I absolutely cannot harm these innocent commoners. Unbeknownst to her, Xian Fong, perched high in a tree, watched with malicious intent. Finally, she's back. I'm going to skin her alive. A disciple carefully presented a box. Master, I brought your 10,000-mile incense. It's guaranteed to make that snake demon suffer. Following the order, the disciple flung the incense towards Ningning. Unable to dodge, she inhaled it. Before losing consciousness, she thought, what's this 10,000-mile incense for? Is it some kind of hot pot ingredient? Are they planning to cook me? Then she collapsed. The waiting disciples exclaimed, Excellent. The snake demon is unconscious. Quickly, bring her back. Suddenly, the ground around Ningning cracked open, and the surrounding landscape transformed into a barren wasteland. The disciples stumbled back in fear. Master, something's wrong. She's fallen into the abyss. We can't see her anywhere. Seeing Ningning vanish, Xian Fong, who was flying on her sword, was stunned. Impossible. I used such a potent 10,000-mile incense. She shouldn't even have the strength to run. Search the area. We must capture her alive and bring her back to the sect leader and the elders. We need to know what she is. Meanwhile, Lin Yang used his cultivation to whisk Ningning away. His actions were witnessed by a figure lurking in the shadows. Isn't that the azure dragon who harmed the heavenly emperor's son? Suddenly, Ningning transformed into a small snake, sleeping soundly in Lin Yang's arms. He cradled her gently, murmuring, Ningning, I'm here. Everything's all right. I'll take you home now. A hurried voice called out, Fellow cultivator, wait. It was Su Zhaozhenren. He frowned, saying, Dragon God, what has become of you? Do you even know who you're protecting? Lin Yang, surprised, realized Su Zhao. So it's him. It seems the heavenly court has sent someone to find me. I've returned to my original form. Su Zhao continued, This is unacceptable. You must return with me now. Lin Yang suddenly pointed behind him. Oh, what's that? Su Zhao turned to look. Using the distraction, Lin Yang cast a spell, transforming Su Zhao. With a soft poof, the flesh and blood Su Zhao became a small piglet. Lin Yong picked up the piglet, nuzzling it playfully. The commoner said a strange object fell onto Jade Plaza. Was that you? Now run along, little piggy. Be careful not to get caught and forced into eternal hard labor. The piglet, unable to respond, could only squeal oink, oink, oink. Within the deep green forest, Lin Yong left the little pig demon he'd created, chuckling. Brother, take your time and enjoy your stay in the mortal realm. I'll be going now. The piglet, Su Zhao, with his stubby little legs, could only oink frantically and try to waddle after him, but to no avail. Lin Yong mused, truly, the world is changing. Unbelievable. This world has gone mad. A dignified dragon god like me, reduced to this. Sometime later, as evening fell, Lin Yong and Ningning found shelter in a Buddhist temple. Lin Yong, resting his head near Ningning's, thought, I remember everything now. Ningning's love core has also opened, but we no longer have our families, and the serpent clan is long gone. Suddenly, a faint gurgling sound broke the silence. Hearing the sound, Lin Yong took a flask of water and drank deeply. He then offered the flask to Ningning, letting the water trickle between his lips and into hers. Ningning's eyes snapped open. She slapped him hard across the face. Blushing furiously, Ningning, indignant at his audacity, scolded, disobedient disciple. How dare you? Such impudence. Despite the stinging slap, Lin Yong remained calm, his voice soft. Ningning, I've told you many times. I don't want to be your disciple anymore. Why won't you listen? Ningning coughed, retorting, don't think that just because you've unsealed my love core, you've done me some great favor and can act like this. Don't even think about it. Lin Yong moved closer, cornering Ningning and leaning in. Really, I shouldn't even think about it. What about you, Ningning? If I weren't your disciple, would you feel anything for me? She hesitated. Do you have any sense of propriety at all? This is outrageous. She thought to herself, I harmed him to ascend to godhood, and then, to save my own skin, I took him as my disciple and pushed him to greater heights. Do I even have the right to talk about love with him? Her inner turmoil grew. Besides, Lin Yong is such a flirt. He loved Alu. He loved Qing Jiao in the brothel. He even loved that ugly little medicine boy. That's just how dragon gods are. He's probably just trying to seduce his own master. Lin Yong gently touched the mark on his cheek where she had slapped him. If you don't have feelings for me, then what was all of that before? He turned to leave. Seeing this, Ningning called out, Lin Yong, where are you going? The air crackled with tension. They stood before a doorway. Lin Yong said, Master told me to indulge in pleasures, didn't she? A man of leisure should not be ashamed of his youth. Following Master's teachings, I'm not happy right now, so naturally, I must go find some happiness. He stepped towards a door. Ningning finally stopped him. Lin Yong, wait, but it was too late. Beautiful women emerged, greeting him warmly. Young master, what is your pleasure? Lin Yong replied, I want the most beautiful lady, the one who sings and dances the best. Ningning fumed. Why did I even follow him here? I can't believe I'm being tormented by these silly games from the past. The beautiful, graceful women surrounded him. He asked, where are you all from? Let's play a game of dice. Whoever loses takes off a piece of clothing. How about it? One of the women, giggling, looked at Ningning. That sister with the sharp eyes watching us from across the way, is she the tiger in your house, keeping you from having fun? Lin Yong replied, my ability to find pleasure comes entirely from her. My kind master would surely approve of me enjoying myself, wouldn't she? One of the women leaned closer to Ningning, teasing Mai, does a master teach these things too? If you taught the young master yourself, why are you so upset now? Ningning slammed her hand on the table, snatching up a cup of wine. Well, let me tell you something. I was wrong before. You are of noble birth. You should be focusing on more important matters. These worldly pleasures are not things a dragon god, like Lin Yong, should be involved in. A gust of wind swept through the room, swirling with a reddish energy. Lin Yong suddenly seemed to realize something. His voice turned cold. Leave. Don't bother me. Ningning was taken aback. What are you saying? I'm your master. But he remained resolute. I told you, I don't want to be your disciple anymore. Her anger reached its peak. Humiliated in front of the courtesans, and more importantly, by her disciple's attitude, Ningning stormed out. Fine, go then. I don't want to be your master anymore either. She flung her sleeve dramatically as she left. As she walked, she fumed. Isn't this exactly how the dragon god, is described in the stories? Heartless, greedy, lustful, and quick to turn his back on people. A true scoundrel to the core. Night fell. Ningning stopped, leaning against a tree, lost in thought. So this is what despair feels like. She looked up at the branches overhead, questioning her own feelings. Could I actually have feelings for the dragon god, just like the original Ningning? Suddenly, she heard the faint sound of approaching footsteps. A small bell on a delicate ankle jingled softly. Well, little girl, we meet again. So this is the infamous Jade Maiden Xian. She said you were formidable. I didn't recognize you last time. Imagine, you're actually the serpent demon. Ningning retorted, knowing I'm the serpent demon, why haven't you surrendered yet? The fox demon, Yu Ma Xian, twirled her finger around a strand of hair, laughing. Oh no. I'm here to inquire about your disciple. My, demon lord, you've taken on quite the talented disciple. 15 years ago, he made a pact, promising to give me the reverse scale from his heart in a quiet forest. Ningning looked at her skeptically. So, you're intercepting me to convince me to persuade my disciple to obediently hand over his reverse scale to you. Yu Ma Xian unleashed her power, extending sharp claws towards Ningning. That disciple of yours is quite disobedient. I suppose I'll just have to take your life in exchange. Ningning countered with a burst of flames. We'll see how capable you are. Seeing the flames, Yu Ma Xian recognized them instantly. The red lotus karmic fire of the 9 heavens serpent demon. You stole the red lotus karmic fire from the celestial emperor. Ningning withdrew the flames, her voice stern. Afraid now, hand over the pact, and I'll spare your life. Yu Ma Xian didn't answer, only licking her lips before suddenly unleashing another attack. Caught off guard, Ningning was hit. She covered her mouth. Her body weakened, and she collapsed. No, this is the same technique that old Fox used to subdue Taoist Yu Heng all those years ago. Yu Ma Xian immediately used her magic to transform into Lin Yang's likeness, a wicked smile spreading across her face. With my 1,000 years of cultivation, I may not be the best at everything, but when it comes to illusion magic in these 3 realms, no one can surpass me. Ningning gritted her teeth, furious. Just who are you, male or female? What do you want? Yu Ma Xian pinned Ningning beneath her, her voice a low hiss. Serpent demon, do you know that by simply copulating with you, then absorbing your yin energy, I can claim the red lotus karmic fire within you as my own? She trailed a finger down Ningning's cheek, her features shifting, morphing into Lin Yang's handsome face, a mesmerizing illusion. Ningning, caught in the spell, murmured, Lin Yang. Yu Ma Xian smirked. Yes, precisely. I can become anyone you desire. Suddenly, a furious roar ripped through the air, followed by a barrage of lightning bolts. How dare you touch her? Lin Yang descended from the sky, his hand raised, the lightning forming a barrier between Yu Ma Xian and Ningning. The fox demon, her plans thwarted, snarled. She's not even your wife, just your master. Don't forget our pact. Are you willing to risk divine punishment to kill your creditor? Lin Yang gathered Ningning into his arms, his eyes blazing. Even if it means defying heaven itself, I will not spare you. Yu Ma Xian, realizing she was outmatched, ascended into the air. Very well, she conceded, but not without a parting threat. Consider yourself fortunate. But don't forget, our pact will follow you until it is fulfilled. Don't think your current power will last forever. With a final flourish of demonic energy, she vanished. Lin Yang knelt on the grass, holding Ningning close. She stirred in his arms, murmuring his name, the illusion still holding her captive. Ningning, under the spell's influence, kissed his cheek, her voice soft and pleading. Don't go. Lin Yang blushed, stammering, don't do that. Ignoring him, she continued, pressing kisses against his chest. He struggled to maintain his composure, his breath growing ragged. Stay calm, he told himself. Master Ningning is under a spell. She whispered in his ear, her voice laced with playful malice. I want to bite you. You were so mean to me, you wretch. He chuckled at the unexpected insult. Wretch. She tugged at his robes, her voice filled with mock indignation. You were the one who insisted on becoming my disciple. You begged me to teach you about the pleasures of the mortal world. And now that you've gained power in the celestial sect, you turn against your master. She playfully pummeled his chest. I corrupted you. I made you lose face. He endured her blows patiently, then took her hands in his voice gentle. So you still care about me. You still worry about me. She pushed him away, still feigning anger. Care about you. You're insufferable. Then, lifting his face to hers, she kissed him, biting his lip playfully. He responded in kind. gently pushing her back onto the grass. As he loosened her robes, she cried out, summoning the red lotus karmic fire. "You dare undress me, you wretch. I'll—" Before she could finish, he soothed the flames with a touch, his eyes holding hers. He leaned close, his gaze seductive. "Ning Ning," he whispered, "if you ask me to stay, I'll stay. I won't go anywhere. We could be husband and wife in the mortal realm, never to part." He sealed his promise with a kiss. He took her wrist in his hand, holding it gently. She trembled beneath his touch. And then, what was inevitable happened. He lifted her leg. They spent a passionate night together, their cries of pleasure echoing through the forest. The next morning, as sunlight filtered through the leaves, Ning Ning awoke with a start. The memories of the night flooded back, leaving her mortified. She buried her face in her hands. How could this happen? Everything that shouldn't have happened, happened. I followed in Tang Xe's footsteps from the novel, falling for this wretched immortal. Lin Yang stirred beside her, rolling over to reveal his toned chest. "Awake already," he murmured. The sight was too much for Ning Ning, who squinted. "Too bright. Cover yourself." She glared at him, her voice laced with accusation. "Don't you think you owe me an explanation?" He feigned innocence, rushing to defend himself. "Last night, you used illusion magic to assault me. I was terribly wronged. But, as a man, I'm willing to take responsibility." He gently took her hand, kissing her knuckles. "Ning Ning, marry me." The scene shifted to a bustling marketplace, where the two were now bickering. Lin Yang trailed after Ning Ning, pleading with her. "Ning Ning, don't be angry. I couldn't help it. You know Ma Xian's cultivation level. That illusion magic was impossible to break." Ning Ning retorted, "If you had just told me at the brothel that Ma Xian was watching, wouldn't this have been avoided? If we had worked together, that fox demon wouldn't have succeeded. This is all your fault." She stalked away, leaving Lin Yang to chase after her. "Ning Ning, wait. Don't leave me," he called, catching up to her with a grin. "You're my wife now. I have to keep an eye on you." Exasperated, Ning Ning kneed him in the groin. "Who's your wife?" Lin Yang crumpled to the ground, clutching his stomach. Heavens, someone's trying to murder their husband. Someone call the authorities. A crowd gathered around them, gossiping. "Haven't we seen this before? Young miss, look, your husband is begging for mercy. Can't you two talk things out like civilized people? What if you damaged him? How will you live the rest of your life?" The scene changed to a bustling medical clinic. Lin Yang burst in, demanding, "Ning Ning, I said we'll get married immediately. What are you so worried about?" She sighed. "How can I not be worried?" She handed him a jar. "Here." Lin Yang looked at it curiously. "What's this?" "It's 100 flowers soaked wine. Try it." Lin Yang took a long swig. "Delicious." Ning Ning explained, "It's called 100 flowers soaked wine because it's made with fragrant flowers from all 4 seasons. Jasmine from spring, water lilies from summer, chrysanthemums from autumn, and winter snow." He looked at her, puzzled. "Why are you suddenly talking about this?" Blushing, she replied, "When this wine is ready, if you still want to marry me, I'll agree." Lin Yang's face lit up. He embraced her, beaming. "Ning Ning, you'll marry me." She nodded shyly. He nuzzled his face against her hair, his voice filled with joy. "You promised." A Ning Ning's word is her bond. She replied, "As long as you don't regret it, I won't either." But inwardly, she thought, let future Ning Ning deal with the future. I hope he recovers his memories someday. I won't regret giving him my love core. Before, I wouldn't have forgiven him so easily, but things are different now. Lin Yang gently placed a hairpin in Ning Ning's hair. "What's this?" she asked. "A token of our engagement," he replied, a confirmation of the promise she had made. Ning Ning turned away. "You think you can just dismiss me with a hairpin?" He started to protest, but this is when little Black Bear suddenly appeared, dragging a small pig that looked remarkably like Su Zhao. "Big brother, look what I caught. We can have roast pork tonight." The pig squealed pathetically. "Unbelievable. I was sent here by the Celestial Emperor to find you. Change back to your original form, now." Lin Yang stared at the piglet, bewildered. "Huh, why?" Ning Ning said, "Do you know this pig?" He lightly tapped the pig's snout. "He looks dangerous. We should lock him up first, fatten him up, and then eat him." Little Black Bear scooped up the piglet and ran off, leaving the creature to squeal in protest. Ning Ning thought to herself, how could a noble youngster from the celestial realm be so bewitched by Tang Xe? Lin Yang gently lifted her chin, his skin brushing against hers. He kissed her cheek softly. "Ning Ning, it's just 100 flowers soaked wine, made with flowers from all 4 seasons. I'll win you over soon. Just wait and be my wife. I'll be back quickly." After leaving Ning Ning's pavilion, a voice called out, "Lin Yang, senior brother." It was Hua Qing. "What are you doing here? How How did you find me? He asked. She seemed anxious. I just came to tell you something. Clutching a silver bracelet radiating a dark aura, she continued. The entire celestial gate, nose tongue XA, has appeared. Everyone is on high alert. I hope, senior brother Lin Yang, that you can show the same bravery and decisiveness you did when protecting the heavenly tower and eradicate Tongue XA. Lin Yang replied, Tongue XA hasn't done anything wrong. Why should I try to kill her? Hua Qing thought. The Ghost City Lord was right. That seductress has bewitched senior brother Lin Yang. Before meeting Lin Yang, Hua Qing had spoken with Yalu in a bamboo forest. He had told her, you and your senior brother. It's a connection from a past life. Meeting again in this life is fate. It's a pity you're so infatuated, even defying your master's orders. You could search high and low, but you won't find him now, you know. Yalu continued, your senior brother and my fiancé are currently entangled. He wants to avoid fellow disciples like you. Of course he won't return. Stung by the unwelcome truth, Hua Qing snapped, nonsense. He then offered her the silver bracelet she had just shown Lin Yang. This celestial-grade artifact, hidden away by that old man in the underworld, I've borrowed it. It's called the soul-calling bell. It can make anyone obedient. If you use it to find your senior brother, you'll see if I'm telling the truth. Blinded by her infatuation, Hua Qing foolishly took the soul-calling bell and rang it. Ding, ding, ding. She thought, senior brother Lin Yang, don't blame me. Hearing the bells chime, Lin Yang suddenly clutched his head. What is this? Such a heavy, murderous aura. Damn it. By Tongue Jing, lurking in the shadows, observed the scene with a sinister smile. See, I knew it. I knew there was something going on between him and that demoness. Hua Qing felt a prickling unease, a sense of being watched. She whirled around to find Tongue Jing standing there. You were spying on me, she gasped. Meanwhile, back at Wan Tianling, the sect had withstood a fierce demonic assault. The very ground still trembled from the aftermath. Yet the one who had contributed most to repelling the invasion was now bound on the execution grounds, falsely accused. Lin Yang, you stand accused of stealing the Luojiao elixir and colluding with demons to betray the sect. Do you admit your guilt? Lin Yang retorted defiantly, you bind me and then accuse me of stealing the Luojiao elixir. Where's your proof? They had none, of course, but their numbers gave them confidence. Bai Tongue Jing pointed a finger at him, still denying it. You disappeared right after the elixir was stolen. You're far too young to have reached such a high cultivation level. Isn't that proof enough that you consumed the Luojiao elixir? The other peak lords murmured amongst themselves, suspicion clouding their faces. Even with exceptional talent, how could he possibly rival the Ghost City Lord in power? Another chimed in. Exactly. If he were truly that gifted, why would he remain a lowly disciple at Wan Tianling? A flicker of hesitation remained among some. The sect leader is still in seclusion. Is this truly appropriate? What if he truly is a demonic cultivator and unleashes a massacre? We'll be the ones to suffer. If he's innocent, let him prove it on the altar, Bai Tongue Jing sneered, gesturing toward the sinister device. It was the lightning conduit, a device capable of summoning celestial lightning onto the altar. Any disciple tainted by demonic energy would be struck down, their flesh and bones reduced to ash. If Lin Yang is innocent, Tongue Jing declared with venomous glee, the lightning conduit will do him no harm. The device, presented as a righteous instrument of justice, was in reality a cruel and merciless tool. Even Lin Yang, who had held onto a sliver of hope, felt his heart turn to ashes. The lightning conduit. I've been a disciple of Wan Tianling for 15 years, and I've never harmed anyone within the sect. I never thought you would hate me this much. His pleas fell on deaf ears. The first drumbeat sounded, its ominous resonance echoing through the air. Lin Yang hung his head in despair. Ningning is still waiting for me. From the heavens, bolts of celestial lightning descended, their power enough to shake the very foundations of the world. It was a force that could obliterate not just flesh and bone, but even the soul itself. A sickening crack echoed through the air. Ningning, her heart a storm of grief and rage, arrived just as the lightning struck. Her Hong Ling nether fire erupted, engulfing those who called themselves righteous cultivators. How dare you? She screamed, her voice trembling as she stumbled towards the execution grounds. But the figure who had stood there moments before, the man she knew as Lin Yang, was gone. Not a trace remained, not even a speck of dust. Ningning's face paled. She couldn't comprehend it. Why? Why isn't there even a single bone left? Torment gnawed at Ningning. The novel had said he was the heavenly emperor, destined for greatness. Had she somehow altered his fate? Was that why Lin Yang was dead? She could do nothing but accept this agonizing reality. All of you, she cried, turning her fury on the self-righteous cultivators. All of you are responsible. Her Hong Ling nether fire, fueled by her grief and rage, erupted, spreading with terrifying speed. You will all be buried with him, she shrieked. But then a faint, ethereal form of Lin Yang appeared, gently embracing her. Desperate to touch him, to feel his presence, Ningning sobbed his name. He only shook his head softly, wiping away the tears that streamed down her face. Then, even that last vestige of his spirit faded into the air. Ningning collapsed, her knees hitting the ground. He didn't want her to slaughter everyone at one. Tianling Xianfang, obsessed with Ting Xe as always, seemed oblivious to the carnage unfolding around her. Tung Xe, she shrieked. Hua Qing, use your spiritual whip. Deal with Tung Xe. But Hua Qing's sanity had shattered with Lin Yang's death. No, she wailed, her voice raw with anguish. It wasn't my fault. I just wanted brother Lin Yang to come back to me. Ningning, despite her desire to honor Lin Yang's wish and spare Wan Tianling, couldn't stand idly by while others attacked her. Do you really think you could defeat me now? With a single strike, Ningning sent Xianfang, despite her immense power, hurtling backward. Her internal organs ruptured, blood gushing from her mouth. Beside her, a blood-soaked sword clattered to the ground. Hua Qing, driven to madness, plunged the sword into her own chest. Crimson blood bloomed, staining her robes as she collapsed into the darkness. Her brilliant, obsessive life extinguished for the love of the man she could never have. Xianfang, ignoring her own wounds, screamed Hua Qing's name in agony. Those who stood in Ningning's path were defeated, but she felt no joy, only a deepening sorrow. She desperately searched for a reason, a glimmer of hope. Lin Yang was always mischievous, always full of tricks. Could he have used an illusion? Could a single lightning strike truly reduce him to nothing? There had to be something more. Bai Tong Jing, his confidence unshaken, struck the drum again, his voice a crazed shriek. You won't escape. Another bolt of celestial lightning descended, but this time a brilliant emerald light shielded Ningning, protecting her from harm. She stared in astonishment. The Big Dipper's righteous chi. How is it on me? Then, she noticed the hairpin Lin Yang had given her. A faint, familiar aura lingered on it. Dragon scales. From the Wan Tianling sacrificial altar. Holding the hairpin tightly, Ningning understood. He had given her his strongest scale. That was why a single lightning strike could reduce him to ashes. Across the execution grounds, Bai Tong Jing crumpled to the ground. Terror seized Bai Tong Jing. He groveled at Ningning's feet, begging for mercy. Demon Lord Tung Xe, please spare me. It was all that Hua Qing girl. She provoked me. She used the soul-summoning bell to bring Lin Yang here, to the sacrificial altar. It was her idea to punish him. Ningning stared down at the sniveling man, his every word confirming her suspicions. It was all becoming clear. He continued, a smug grin spreading across his face. This artifact must be from the Di Tian sect. Why else would Hua Qing kill herself out of guilt? Xianfang, overcome with grief and rage, cried out, you wretch. You only turned on her after she was dead. Ningning clutched the artifact, her face darkening, her jaw tight. This is Yili's artifact. Yilu, knowing he was no match for Lin Yang, had goaded Hua Qing into bringing him to Wan Tianling. This was his true purpose all along. Suddenly, a voice boomed across the execution grounds. Master Ningning. She turned towards the sound. Figures clad in black, carrying banners, appeared on the mountaintop. I told you Demon Lord Tung Xe had returned. I knew I wasn't mistaken. Little Black Bear exclaimed. I was afraid you wouldn't be able to defeat them alone, Little Black Bear continued. So I snuck into the demonic mountain to find reinforcements. Ningning rushed towards him, a wave of relief washing over her. Little Black Bear, you did well. The figures bowed in unison. Welcome back, Demon Lord. Ningning turned back to the remaining cultivators, her voice ringing with authority. Seize them, imprison them in the Jade Plaza, and make them slaves. The next day, at Snake Demon Mountain, Ningning sat upon her throne, addressing a kneeling figure. Shermeng Shou, she asked, can you induce pleasant dreams? The figure bowed his head lower. Yes, I can. Ningning regarded him calmly. For how long can these pleasant dreams last? Shermeng Shou hesitated. One night at most. But nightmares, those can be endless. Ningning hurled her teacup to the floor, shattering it. Useless. A subordinate rushed in. Demon Lord, the city lord of Ghost City has arrived with gifts and requests an audience. Ningning's eyes narrowed. Gifts? Let him in. I want to see what tricks he's playing. Consumed by her grief and burning desire for vengeance, Ningning thought, Lin Yang, I will avenge you. Yilu strode into the hall, a confident smirk on his face. My dear, he began, I trust you haven't forgotten our engagement, now that you're alive and well. And once again the demon lord of Snake Demon Mountain, he continued, we should finalize our marriage as soon as possible. Ningning scowled. Don't call me my dear. You killed Lin Yang, and you dare show your face here. She threw the marriage contract at his feet. The engagement is off. It was a marriage of convenience, nothing more. There's no need to pretend any longer. Yilu chuckled, a predatory glint in his eyes. I've waited for you for years. I won't let you treat me like a game. This is not up for discussion. Ningning's anger flared. Don't tell me you've fallen in love with me. I wouldn't be flattered. Yalistud beside her, feignin innocente. You don't believe me, Tengekse. Is your heart made of stone? I've saved you countless times. Don't I deserve a little kindness in return? Ningning turned away, her voice low. Yes, you've saved me, but I don't believe it was all coincidence. Her voice rising in anger, she demanded, tell me, why did you harm Lin Yang? Just to have me. Yilu, not only unrepentant, but smug, replied, he dared to steal the woman I love. Of course he deserved to die. Ningning glared at him, disgust twisting her features. In a flash, she lashed out, her attack aimed to kill. You despicable, treacherous fiend. Prepare tout dit. A dark energy enveloped Yilu as he sneered. You can't kill me, Ningning. Ningning watched in stunned disbelief. His aura, it felt eerily familiar, like the dragon god descending from the heavens. A chilling realization dawned on her. Were you banished from the celestial realm? She whispered. Who are you really? Ningning, you're quite perceptive. I almost forgot. I was indeed nurtured by the celestial realm. If it weren't for my transgression. Her gaze fell upon her captured subordinates, bound and gagged in the corner, their muffled cries filling the air. Yilu, reveling in his cruelty, continued, I've used the souls of the Een soldiers to seize control of Snake Demon Mountain. Obey me, or I'll slaughter 10 lesser demons each day to vent my rage. I hear bear paw soup is quite nourishing. Ningning spat blood, her face pale with fury. You're despicable. You urged me to rebel against the celestial realm for this, didn't you? For the Red Lotus Hellfire. You want to use me, Tung Exe, as your cauldron to return to the celestial realm. He smirked, his eyes glinting with malice. Clever girl, Ningning, but I didn't expect you to change so much after your return. Seizing the opportunity, Yilu pulled her close. Now, I truly cherish you. I want to marry you. I'll dismiss my entire harem and devote myself solely to you. What do you say? He pinched her cheek, a triumphant gleam in his eyes. Our wedding will be on the 15th of next month. Mid-autumn festival. We should embrace the romantic customs of the mortals. The dark energy around him began to dissipate. He turned to leave, adding, I came now because I know you're grieving for that Lin Yang. I understand. It's tough to love a useless wretch. But once you've composed yourself, you'll marry me willingly. Ningning, consumed by hatred, glared after him, her teeth clenched. Yilu, if you want to play dirty, I'll play along. Lin Yang rubbed his head, confused. Why am I back in the mortal realm again? A young boy sweeping nearby gasped. It's Celestial Lord Lin Yang. You've returned. Almost instantly, the entourage of the Supreme Lord Lao Jun arrived, bowing deeply. Greetings, Celestial Lord Lin Yang. Welcome back, Dragon God. We welcome your return to the Nine Heavens Celestial Palace. Lin Yang glanced at them, a hint of amusement in his eyes. There's no need for such formality, Lao Jun. It feels like I haven't been gone long at all. Stroking his long beard, the Supreme Lord Lao Jun chuckled. Not long at all. Celestial Lord Lin Yang, commander of the Nine Heavens, is an example to all immortals. Even a brief descent to the mortal realm, a journey through a past life, can bring about swift and favorable celestial enlightenment. Come, Celestial Lord, please follow me to re-register your name in the celestial roster, and then join the Heavenly Emperor to reminisce. The Star Lord of Destiny chimed in. Indeed, indeed. His Majesty eagerly awaits the capture of Tung Exe, who wronged you and caused your fall from grace. As he spoke, the person beside him flinched. Su Zhao quickly clapped a hand over the other person's mouth, whispering, if you don't speak, no one will notice you're not mute. Of all things to mention, why bring up that treacherous Tung Exe? Lin Yang paused, the name echoing in his mind. Thang Sa. He thought, yes, it was Tung Exe who rebelled against the heavenly court. I was tasked with capturing him, and as a result, I fell from grace. He turned to Su Zhao, about to ask for more information. Where's Tung Xe now? But before he could finish, Su Zhao waved a dismissive hand. That villain has long since vanished without a trace. He's probably been smashed to smithereens by now. Let's not talk about that unlucky snake demon on such a joyous occasion. Lin Yang turned to leave. Very well. Lao Jun, take me to register my name. As for reminiscing with the Heavenly Emperor, let's postpone that. I need to inspect the rainfall distribution in the southern region. Star-Lord of Destiny, what's the situation there? The Star-Lord of Destiny laughed heartily. As expected of the wisest immortal of the 9 heavens, I am humbled by your dedication, Celestial Lord. At Mount Tianlao, by the serene and picturesque heavenly bamboo lake, with its clear, azure waters, Lin Yang glided effortlessly across the surface, reaching the opposite shore. Yuma Chun, spotting Lin Yang, burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, we meet again, you little rascal. It's time you fulfilled our pact. Hand over your reverse heart scale. Lin Yang, outwardly calm, but inwardly perturbed, feigned ignorance. Nine-tailed fox, pact, reverse heart scale. He placed a hand on his chest, feigning confusion. Where's my reverse heart scale? Enraged, Yuma Chun pointed at him accusingly. Lin Yang, don't play dumb. Did that Ningning girl teach you how to shed your reverse heart scale, thinking you could hide from me? Her outburst was cut short as Lin Yang, annoyed by her clamor, sent her sprawling into the lake with a flick of his wrist. The tranquil surface erupted as she landed with a splash. Sputtering and soaked, she lay sprawled on the bank, struggling to speak. How did you ascend so quickly? It's only been a few days. I've cultivated for over 1,000 years, and I'm still just an earth immortal. How can you be so powerful? The lake gradually calmed, its surface once again mirroring the serene sky above. Lin Yang stood before Yuma Chun, his voice sharp. I ask you again, who is Ningning? If you continue with this nonsense, I will force you to reveal your true form. Yuma Chun trembled, stammering, Isn't Ningning that master who took you in? She took advantage of a naivete, tricked you into falling for her, and even insisted you marry her. Lin Yang's eyebrows shot up in surprise. He stroked his chin thoughtfully. Is that so? She wanted to marry me. We even discussed marriage. Yuma Chun, still sprawled on the ground, added painfully yes. This lowly fox only recently learned the truth. She's actually Tung Xe, the one who attacked the heavenly court. She was defeated and retreated, and now she's not only returned to Snake Demon Mountain as the Demon Lord, but she's also preparing to marry the City Lord of Ghost City. Lin Yang's lips curled into a wry smile. It seems much has transpired between Tung Xe and me since I ascended. Someone, take this fox demon into custody. She likely knows more than she's letting on. The next morning, amidst a breathtaking, ethereal landscape, a delicate hand traced the contours of the mountain terrain. The figure then consulted a map of Snake Demon Mountain. Lin Yang, holding Yuma Chun's testimony, turned to Su Zhao with a serious expression. I ask you, Su Zhao, who is this Ningning? When you descended to the mortal realm to find me, did you ever hear of her? Su Zhao looked stunned. Isn't that the name of Tung Xe, the one who caused your fall from grace? Why are you asking about her? A cold glint entered Lin Yang's eyes. So it is her. Now I must capture her. A guard rushed in. Celestial Lord, we are ready to accompany you to the mortal realm to apprehend the demon. Overhearing this, Su Zhao quickly intervened. Celestial Lord, absolutely not. That Tung Xe is cunning and treacherous. She's likely plotting to harm you again. We must devise a careful plan. You cannot risk yourself like this. Lin Yang turned, his expression calm. Fear not. I've crossed paths with her before and know her capabilities. Let us depart for Snake Demon Mountain. Meanwhile, at Snake Demon Mountain, the Demon Lord's palace was adorned with red silk and overflowing with celebratory cheer. Everyone offered congratulations to the bride and groom. A figure gently lifted the red veil, softly calling out, Ningning. Yilu gazed at her with adoration. Is this wedding everything you imagined? The festive atmosphere filled the air. Yilu gently took Ningning's hand, raising a glass of red wine. I know you enjoy lively celebrations. Ningning, after we share this drink, just the two of us, we'll travel the world hand in hand, taking in all the sights. What do you say? Ningning replied. Why is the city lord so relaxed? Aren't you in a hurry to return to the heavenly court? He gazed at her tenderly. Being with you is far more enjoyable than ruling Ghost City or seeking revenge against the heavenly emperor. Stay with me, Ningning. My feelings are true. Ningning, playing along, responded, very well. Then let me stay by your side forever. Suddenly, Yelu froze, his expression changing. You can't drink this wine. Ningning feigned surprise. What do you mean? Are you having second thoughts about marrying me? He snatched the glass from her hand and drained it in one gulp. After draining the glass, Yelu leaned close to Ningning, a smug grin spreading across his face. Ningning, I forgot to mention something. Buddha cursed me to an eternity of wandering, so I can't die so easily. Your poison won't kill me. Just put me to sleep for a while. I can't leave you to face death alone, can I? Ningning dropped the pretense. How did you know I wanted to die with you? He smirked, wiping the remaining wine from his lips. Ningning, you underestimate me. You were far too attentive today. Besides, I saw the wound on your wrist. He seized the opportunity, pulling her into his arms, whispering sweet nothings. Ningning, I even drank your wine. Will you stay? I truly adore you. Be mine, Ningning. I'll give you everything in this world. Ningning wondered, could he be serious? Suddenly, he produced a soul-summoning bell, shaking it rhythmically. Pushing her down onto the wedding bed, he continued, Did you know I've kept one of your snake scales as a token of our love? Ningning, trapped and struggling, gritted her teeth. The soul-summoning bell. Yelu, what are you doing? He leaned in, murmuring, I was going to wait until our wedding night was properly consummated, willingly. He paused. Ningning, I admit I initially approached you for the red spiritual fire, but then, before he could finish, his subordinates burst through the door. City Lord, terrible news. The celestial army has arrived. Yelu roared from the bed. Which immortal dares interrupt my wedding night? The subordinate bowed low. My lord, it's the 8 divisions of the celestial army, led by Commander Shi Wan Shunlong. They demand the surrender of the demon Tung Xe. We must flee. Outside, Lin Yang appeared, ready to strike. Yelu gasped. Shi Wan Shunlong. Ningning's eyes widened. Lin Yang, you're back. Seeing her change in demeanor, Yelu tried to restrain her. Ningning, don't let him. Weakened by the poison, he clutched his chest in pain. The poison, he groaned, collapsing back onto the bed. Ningning, don't go. She rushed to his side, embracing him. Lin Yang, is it really you? Did you come back for our wedding? Before he could answer, she pressed her lips to his, tears streaming down her face. Then, she collapsed unconscious. Hey, Lin Yang tried, bewildered. Back in the ethereal realm of the heavenly court, Ningning awoke and clung to him, showering him with words. Lin Yang, you are Alife. I knew it. You've always been so clever. How could you die so easily? She leaned closer, whispering, Lin Yang, I missed you so much. Lin Yang's face remained impassive. Tung Xe, you're awake. Now get up. I am not your Lin Yang. I am Shi Wan Shunlong, a deity you cannot defile. Ningning stared at him, stunned. You're not Lin Yang. You're Shi Wan Shunlong. Doubt clouded her mind. So Shi Wan Shunlong didn't die from the lightning strike. He ascended unexpectedly. So Lin Yang's cultivation, that has long since met the requirements for ascension. It was only because of me that he stayed. As realization dawned, Ningning crumpled to the floor. Lin Yang approached, his voice laced with amusement. Afraid now. I know you curse me with the heavenly tribulation and cause so much chaos. What a waste of effort. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a near whisper. I hear you taught me when I was a child in the mortal realm. As a token of my gratitude, why don't you stay in my celestial palace? I'll take good care of you. Ningning stared up at him, stunned. Gratitude. This celestial lord was truly something. Such a dignified way to speak of revenge. Despite her inner turmoil, she feigned humility. There's no need. A lowly, insignificant demon like me isn't worthy of such an honor. Lin Yang's voice remained cool. How can the demon Lord Tung Xe be considered insignificant? Besides, he added, a glint in his eye, didn't I once call you master when I was but a mortal child? Ningning flushed, stammering, well, that's because you insisted on taking me as your master. I was powerless to refuse. He settled into a nearby seat, a playful smirk on his face. Oh, then perhaps you could tell me, Master Ningning, what skills you taught me. Ningning stammered, her mind racing. Idleness, gambling, trickery, playing the victim, seduction. How could she possibly admit to any of that in the heavenly realm? Meanwhile, 2 celestial attendants bickered in another part of the vast palace. This entire celestial palace is enormous. Why am I the only one cleaning it? The other retorted, those are Lord Shunlong's orders. Unless you want to sit around doing nothing. Ningning bristled. I, the demon lord Tung Xe, am supposed to sit here and wait for death. If you have the guts, then release me. The attendant scoffed. This is the 9 heavens. You're a prisoner now, so drop the arrogant act. Let's see if Lord Shunlong agrees with your defiance. Lin Yang, sipping his tea calmly, interjected, not keen on working. Perhaps we should continue our discussion from last night. I hear a snake's entire body is a treasure trove. The snake core, especially, is a most precious medicinal ingredient. Ningning paled. No. That's not true at all. Lord Shenlong, don't be fooled by those baseless rumors. I'm just a small, wild snake. I have no medicinal value whatsoever. She put on a pitiful expression. Actually, I didn't want to stop you from returning to your celestial position, but you insisted on following me. I couldn't bear to see such a young celestial lord wander the mortal realm and suffer, so I took you in for a few years. She clasped her hands together pleadingly. Now that you've returned, let's call it even. Please, let me go. Lin Yang Smiled Gintli. Tung Xe, when we were in the mortal realm, was it just shared hardship? Are you leaving anything out? She shook her head vehemently. No, I was very busy. I raised you for a few years, then realized I wasn't cut out for childcare. So, I sent you to a celestial sect. After that, we had nothing to do with each other. She paused, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. Pleading with him based on their past, it felt weak. Lin Yang's voice was quiet. Nothing to do with each other. So eager to sever ties with me. How noble of you. He thought to himself, her image is all that fills my mind. I thought she'd be terrified and use our past to threaten me, even exaggerate things to ruin my reputation. Lin Yang sighed. I was just teasing you. I have no shortage of elixirs. I wouldn't even consider using your snake core. You can rest assured. There's no need to be so afraid. Ningning bristled. You a dignified dragon god, scaring a little demon like me. Lin Yang replied calmly. Demon Lord Tung Xe, you're too modest. I've held my divine position for hundreds of years. The only one who dared to directly challenge the 9 heavens and confront me was you, Tung Xe. I've lived for nearly 1,000 years, and the only one who dared to take me as their disciple was you, Ningning. How can my master be considered a little demon? Ningning froze, stunned by his words. Had he truly forgotten everything, or did some impression of their past remain? Was he pretending to forget to protect his reputation and future prospects? If he genuinely suffered from amnesia, she could forgive him. They could go their separate ways. But if he was feigning, then this celestial lord was truly the epitome of heavenly hypocrisy. Just then, someone announced, Your Divine Majesty, Fairy Qing'er of the 100 Flowers Forest requests an audience. A corner of purple silk, hinting at a woman's presence, appeared. It was Flower Fairy Qing'er. Ningning recognized her. She was the junior sister who constantly hovered around Lin Yang. So, they had a prior connection from a past life. This wretched man. Ningning seethed with anger as Lin Yang ordered, Go to my study and clean it, but don't touch my books. Ningning grumbled, Fine. Qing'er watched her go, a thoughtful expression on her face. Hadn't they said the dragon god wanted revenge, and that's why he captured Tung Xe? This doesn't seem quite right. Qing'er bowed. Greetings, your divine majesty. Lin Yang replied, Fairy Qing'er, what brings you here? Qing'er présentait a basket. I made some special 100 flowers nectar and brought it for you to try, your divine majesty. Suddenly, a sneeze interrupted their conversation. The culprit was Ningning, dusting the bookshelves. This lunatic, he doesn't read these books himself, but he makes me clean them. Unaware that Lin Yang stood in the doorway, arms crossed, he said, These books are for you to read, not me. I simply asked you to clean them. Is there a problem? Ningning jumped. What? Me? Read all these. Are you planning to keep me imprisoned forever? Lin Yang pulled a book from the shelf. Read this one. The celestial emperor wrote it when he created the heavens and the earth. He leaned down, his face close to hers. Read it carefully. It will be very beneficial for a demon like you. His sudden proximity flustered her, and she stammered, blushing, I don't like reading. These celestial books are too profound. I probably won't understand them. He smiled. If you don't understand, you can ask me. I'll certainly be a better teacher than you were. Ningning retorted, I never mistreated you. After some time cleaning, Ningning asked, What have you been reading all afternoon? Lin Yang, sitting beneath a drum, replied, 10,000 wonderful uses of snake liver. I've even prepared the wine for soaking the snake elixir. We can begin the medicinal process at any time. Ningning noticed the tray of teacups on the table. 100 flowers nectar. She thought, if I hadn't insisted Lin Yang soak in 100 flowers nectar before our wedding, perhaps everything that followed wouldn't have happened. He noticed her lingering gaze. Walking over and picking up a cup, he said, "This is my wine. Are you staring at it because you're thirsty?" Ningning replied, "I don't know why, but ever since I saw this bamboo tube of nectar brewed by the flower fairy, I've felt melancholy, like something is unfinished, full of regret." He asked, "Tangekse, do you know why?" She turned away, shaking her head. "I don't know. Perhaps the dragon god enjoyed drinking it when he was still mortal." He responded, "Is that so? In my heart, a stubborn and unyielding aesthetic. Could it be that you, Tangekse, only intended to use me? But that old fox, Yuma-chan, didn't say that." He smiled brightly. "Ah, that's right. I've dispatched other fairies to the 4 seas and 8 desolations to bestow blessings with rain. For the next few days, I'll have to trouble you with the matters of the celestial palace." Resting his chin on his hand, he continued, "Actually, I'm not particularly picky about food. If you can cook something that pleases me, perhaps before you even finish reading the books in this study, I might let you go." Ningning scoffed internally. "I'll believe that when I see it." He looked at her, thinking, having her cultivate celestial arts to suppress the karmic flames within her body is for her own good. If I truly kept her in the dragon god's celestial palace, what would become of her in a few hundred years? Aloud, he asked, "I believe Demon Lord Tung Exe possesses untapped potential. Have you ever considered cultivating immortality?" Ningning's head filled with question marks. Cultivate immortality. Why would I do that? He explained, "Cultivating immortality is the righteous path. Moreover, you've swallowed the red lotus karmic fire elixir. If you return to the mortal realm and continue your reckless ways, one day you'll cause a great catastrophe." She retorted, "Being a celestial is too austere. To love what I've loved, to hate what I've hated, to experience the full spectrum of greed, anger, and delusion, the 7 emotions and 6 desires, that's not wasting a life." He fell silent. She tilted his chin up and asked, "Celestial Lord, have you ever considered going against the will of heaven?" Suddenly, a flash of light enveloped her. Finding herself bound by blue iron chains, he roared angrily, "Reckless fool! You dare bewitch me!" He taunted, "Demon Lord Tung Exe, I advised you to choose the path of righteousness, but you wish to steal my cultivation and spiritual power." She stammered through gritted teeth, What are you doing?" He poked her stomach, making her flinch. "Taking your demon core, of course. I seem to recall a snake's demon core resides somewhere around here, doesn't it?" She cried out, shameless. He placed a hand on her face, stroking it provocatively. "Who was it that told me to experience the full spectrum of the 7 emotions and 6 desires? And you can't even handle this much. Ah, how did you bewitch me and lead me astray?" A subordinate entered, interrupting the charged moment. "Audacious snake demon, in broad daylight, you dare bewitch our celestial lord. You deserve to be brought before the celestial execution platform." Behind him, the arrival of Su Zhao startled Ningning. He entered, his face a mask of shock. "Demon Lord Tung Exe, have you truly fallen so far? This is utterly disgraceful. Someone, seize this vile demon and take her to the celestial prison." The subordinate bowed respectfully. "Yes, sir." Lin Yang turned and said, "Hold on." Su Zhao admonished, "Celestial Lord Lin Yang, if you continue to indulge this demon, sooner or later she will cause a great calamity." Lin Yang countered, "I disciplined this snake demon out of compassion, hoping to transform a weapon of destruction into a gentle soul. A few minor mishaps in the process are unavoidable." Ningning stood behind him, rolling her eyes. "Discipline? This lecherous deity clearly just wanted to force a kiss on me." Lin Yang continued speaking, "Lately, I've been considering having Tung Exe produce some 100 flowers nectar. I hear that snake-infused wine is the finest. What does a mortal Chu Zhao think?" He suddenly laughed. "So that's it. Kill the snake, then steep it in wine." "Excellent." The subordinate chimed in, enlightened. "It seems I was overthinking it. So the dragon god intends to humiliate and torture Tung Exe before steeping her in wine." Ningning stared at them in terror, her mind reeling. "100 flowers. Linian gesturet. Go and pick some flowers. Fresh ones. I hear using wilted flowers for brewing ruins the fragrance. I intend to make some wine to serve at the upcoming celestial banquet." She turned, bewildered. "Why me?" She thought, "This must be karmic retribution. I told him I'd marry him once I'd collected enough 100 flowers nectar. Now the wedding is off, but the dragon god still remembers the wine. It feels like revenge." He raised an eyebrow. "Surely you don't expect me to pick the flowers myself, and I haven't brought any other attendants." She bristled. Are you saying you consider me your servant? He wrapped an arm around her waist. If not a servant, then what are you to me? Two figures approached. One of them looked at them curiously. Isn't that celestial Lord Lin Yang? And who is the fairy attending him? Might we have an introduction? Lin Yang Smilet. This is Tung Xe. Her cultivation is negligible, but her temper is formidable, considering the virtuous nature of the heavens. I've brought her here for discipline. Hopefully, she'll repent. Ningning gritted her teeth. What have I done that's so evil? If I hadn't shown mercy to that Lin Yang brat, would this dragon god even be standing here today? Now that Lin Yang has ascended and regained his celestial position, he forces me into servitude. Who should be repenting here? The two newcomers looked enlightened. Dragon God, you are truly a righteous celestial. We are deeply impressed. They whispered to each other. Tung Xe isn't as terrifying and treacherous as the rumors suggest. Beside the Dragon God, she seems quite docile. One of them replied, she must have been truly subdued. If Tung Xe genuinely repents, then consuming a 1,000-year-old serpent won't be in vain. Ningning glared at them, scoffing internally. They have no idea. This righteous, virtuous dragon god, admired by all, is actually a despicable villain, scheming in the shadows. Tell me, she said, if I helped spread the word, do you think the other celestials would understand you better? He raised an eyebrow. Oh, you've only been here a few days, and you've already seen through my facade. I'm not just a despicable villain. I'm also... She stared at the narcissistic deity. He leaned in, whispering in her ear, dragons are known for their romantic inclinations. How else would there be 9 different dragon offspring? She yelped, you're a celestial. Behave yourself. He looked at her, feigning innocence. Just with you. Dragons are romantic, yes, but not with just anyone. She snapped. What's that supposed to mean? I'm starting to think you're all glitter on the outside and rotten wood within, and you dare to disdain me. He watched her simmering rage. So, you wanted to praise your beauty and then fall into your arms. She ignored him, turning to leave. I'm done with this pointless chatter. I have work to do. Inwardly, she fumed. The once earnest Lin Yang has become so frivolous as the dragon god. Is this really karmic retribution for raising him as a child? 3 days later, she sat in the cool shade of the 100 Flowers forest. This nectar truly is delicious. She slumped onto the table, dejected. Lin Yang, I miss you so much. An irritated voice shattered the peace. Thanks, Sa. Bai Tong Jing stormed in, hands on his hips. I've been searching for you everywhere. You're slacking off here. You were supposed to prepare the dragon god's bath today. Did you deliberately forget? Ningning remained silent. She lunged, striking him across the face. Ouch! Ouch! Stop! She stalked off, leaving him groaning. Deliberately. Who does he think he is, ordering me around like a servant? Preparing a bath for the dragon god. Does he think I'm a vegetarian? I'll go find that dragon god and settle the score myself. Elsewhere, Lin Yang stepped into the bathing pool, his sculpted physique barely concealed by his loose robes. Ningning burst through the door, storming towards him. Dragon God, what do you want from me? Does seeing me suffer bring you joy? He glanced at her, murmuring, drinking counterfeit wine, perhaps. She pointed at him accusingly. I treated you well. I shared everything with you, every joy, every delicacy. And this is how you repay me. With spite. He grasped her hand, unangered. Do you really think I don't remember? You tried to lead me down a wicked path. You didn't want me to reclaim my celestial position. He tilted her chin upwards. Now, I'm merely purging the demonic energy from you, guiding you towards righteousness, repaying your kindness. And you dare to complain? She wrenched her hand free, irritated. He pushed her against the wall. Am I being unfair? Tell me why you want to leave. If I'm satisfied, perhaps I'll let you go. She turned her face away. I yearn for the mortal realm, for life. He chuckled, a seductive glint in his eyes. What does the demon lord yearn for? The power to collude with the demon realm. She raised an eyebrow. Why else? If you hadn't interfered, I'd be the ruler of both the demon and monster realms. Celestials would be begging for mercy at my feet. He released her. His gaze darkened, so quick to look for greener pastures. Tung Xe, did you use the same tricks to bewitch the demon realm's ruler? I thought you preferred younger prey, like your disciple. She shoved him away. Lin Yang, don't push it. You were the one who clung to me, begged to be my disciple, followed me home, gave me gifts, and proposed. Tears suddenly welled in her eyes. And now you call me shameless. A cougar. You wretched dragon god. If only I hadn't been so soft-hearted. He looked bewildered. I wanted to marry Tung Exe. A calf truly doesn't fear the tiger. And we had a marriage agreement. Unbelievable. Lin Yang was at a loss for how to comfort her. Ningning continued to cry. Let it all out, he said, a pang of sympathy twisting in his chest. Seeing her cry like this, it actually hurts. Perhaps this is proof that Lin Yang still resides within me. She slapped him. He touched his cheek. You hit me. She nodded. You're a handsome celestial lord, so I hit you. He frowned. What kind of logic is that? She gently rubbed his cheek, then suddenly kissed him. He froze, surprised. From afar, the image shimmered. Two figures locked in a passionate embrace. In the Celestial Academy, students watched with curious eyes. A young girl asked her master, Master, what happened to your face? Bearing both a slap mark and the lingering trace of a kiss, he calmly replied, It seems even the 9 heavens have mosquitoes now. A student chimed in, Don't be surprised, everyone. We used to have rats in the 9 heavens too. Perhaps you've all heard the story. A small rat scurried by. 500 years ago, a sentient rat frequented the Buddha's palace to eavesdrop on scriptures. One day, it carelessly chewed through a lamp wick, starting a fire that consumed countless sacred texts. The young girl gasped. I never knew. So, the mosquito that bit our master will ascend and transform tomorrow. Lin Yang sighed. The rat drank the Buddha's lamp oil, achieving a state of agelessness and immortality. How then can I possibly enlighten such a slow-witted, ignorant demon? A student in the front row looked puzzled. But master, you've always been decisive, sending demons and monsters straight to reincarnation. You've never enlightened anyone. Why do you ask? Lin Yang Feigned Asig. Just considered a mosquito. Just then, Ningning rushed in. Dragon God, something terrible has happened. I went to your chambers and found everything in ruins. Was there a thief last night? Lin Yang sighed inwardly. She's forgotten everything. So be it. Yes, a thief, he replied. Clean it up and repaint the wall. Last night, a lunatic rampaged through here, smashing into the wall. Ningning brightened. Dragon God, I heard the Celestial Lord are preparing a banquet to welcome you. If I finish all my tasks, could you perhaps bring this little demon along to broaden my horizons? He raised an eyebrow. Broaden your horizons. She nodded eagerly. Yes, I've heard celestial life is wondrous. Since I'm finally in the celestial realm, I should experience it. She thought to herself, the Dragon God's banquet will be filled with important guests. It'll be the perfect opportunity to slip away unnoticed. He replied, True, a celestial banquet isn't something a wild forest sprite like you would normally encounter. But aren't you afraid? Her cheeks puffed out. Wild forest sprite. So, the affection I felt for him was just an illusion. She forced a smile. Afraid they'll eat me. Perhaps the Dragon God should be more concerned about whether bringing a demon like me will tarnish his reputation. He chuckled. Losing face is the least of my worries. I'm more concerned that you'll disobey and cause trouble. She plastered on a sweet smile. Nonsense. I promise to be on my best behavior. Inwardly, however, she thought, I only obey myself. Meanwhile, at the banquet, whispers rippled through the crowd. Have you heard? Tung Exe and the Dragon God have some sort of ambiguous history from the mortal realm. How scandalous. All eyes turned towards them. See, only a demoness could tame such a man. Even our stoic Dragon God has a soft spot. Hua Qing slammed her wine cup down in a fit of pique. Why does she have to be so smug? That ugly snake demon. All she's good for is illusion magic. Wang Shou looked surprised. It's rare to see the Dragon God with a female attendant. I wonder where this fairy comes from. Ximing Xingjuan added, Indeed. Such captivating spiritual energy. No wonder she's caught the Dragon God's eye. Lend her to me for a few days, won't you? Lin Yang's expression darkened. She's Tung Exe, not just anyone's plaything. They recoiled slightly, intimidated. My, she purred. This humble demon lord is simply here to enjoy some peaches and celestial wine. Am I not welcome? Lin Yang smoothly interjected, Please excuse her. She's unaccustomed to formalities. Laughter erupted from the crowd. Celestial Lord Lin Yang, you've returned. Greetings, Celestial Emperor. Lin Yang bowed. My apologies for my late arrival, Celestial Emperor. I trust you haven't been too worried. Ningning stared at the Celestial Emperor, surprised. I didn't expect the big boss of the heavens to look so young. The Celestial Emperor gestured towards the beautiful woman beside Lin Yang. This lovely lady beside Celestial Lord Lin Yang. Could she be the legendary Tung Xe. Ningning curtsied politely. Greetings, Celestial Emperor. Hua Qing sneered. Celestial Emperor, I hear the dragon god has tamed this arrogant Tung Xe. She's apparently quite obedient now, like a pet. Perhaps she could entertain us with a demonstration at this banquet. Lin Yang intervenet. Fairy Hua Qing. Today I've brought the 100 flowers nectar for everyone to enjoy. This wine was personally brewed by Tung Xe. She's currently residing at the dragon god's residence, behaving herself quite admirably. There's no need for. Ningning cut him off. The celestial lord is mistaken. She continued, her voice laced with venom. Tung Xe is your defeated foe, a prisoner of the 9 heavens. Are you suggesting that brewing a jar of wine proves my loyalty? The celestial emperor chimed in. Indeed, I've heard that the demon lord Tung Xe defeated the demon realm's commander and caused havoc in the mortal realm. If I could witness Tung Xe perform a dance, it would be a feast for the eyes. Perhaps then we could put past grievances aside. Lin Yang took her hand. Who said anything about dancing? Do I look like someone who needs you to perform such tricks? She replied, is it wrong to show my loyalty to the celestial emperor? Is the dragon god displeased? With that, she picked up a fan and began a mesmerizing dance. Everyone watched, captivated. I never knew she could dance so beautifully. I don't understand her at all. Lin Yang found himself thinking, why do I even want to understand her? The celestial emperor, thoroughly entertained, beamed. Excellent. Dragon god, how did you manage to persuade Tung Xe to be so obedient? It seems your time in the mortal realm has greatly enhanced your skills. The others echoed his praise. Indeed, the celestial lord has returned a changed man. He never used to touch a drop of alcohol, yet today, he flushed slightly. You're surprisingly well behaved today. I can't help but wonder what you're plotting. She retorted, I'm currying favor with the wine-making fairies so I can brew more and flattering the celestial emperor so I can go home sooner. What's so strange about that? So that's how you see me? He asked, his voice hardening. It seems Yili truly holds a special place in your heart. You're so eager to return because of him. Just then, a group of celestial maidens approached. Demon Lord Tung Xe. One of them simpered, we've been dancing for so long, yet haven't received a single compliment from the celestial emperor. Qing Er raised her glass. To you, she said sweetly. To you, Ningning replied, though inwardly she thought, if I can get her drunk enough, maybe this ugly snake demon will reveal her true form. What a show that would be. But Lin Yang intercepted each cup offered to Ningning. She can't drink, he explained. My immortal body hasn't fully recovered from its last tribulation and can't handle another round of damage. I'll drink in her stead. Ningning stared at him, dumbfounded. Look at the dragon god, someone remarked. He's actually drinking willingly. The heavens must be smiling upon us. As Lin Yang continued to drink for her, he eventually slumped over the table. Too easy, Ningning thought. Not even a god can withstand the dream death brew. Perfect, while no one's looking. Her hand brushed his face. Farewell, dragon god. We won't meet again. You're not him after all. Meanwhile, at the Jiangnan villa, little Black Bear had grown considerably. You've gotten big, Ningning remarked. He chuckled sheepishly. Well, 15 years have passed after all. Master Ningning, you're truly alive. I'm so glad. You seem thinner, he observed, his brow furrowing. Did that dragon god bully you? She scoffed. He wouldn't dare. You underestimate your master. Little Black Bear growled. That damn dragon god. If I ever see him, I'll rip out his dragon bones and make you soup. She coughed, thinking he still doesn't know that the stoic dragon god is Lin Yang, ascended. It's for the best, she mused. Better that little Black Bear doesn't idolize that heartless deity. If he knew who I once was to him, it would only break his heart. Suddenly, a small hand tugged at her robe. Are you Master Ningning? Little Black Bear scooped up 2 children. Let me introduce you, he said proudly. These are my daughters. Time flies in the mortal realm, doesn't it? I have my own family now. The children looked at Ningning with wide eyes. Annie, one of them asked, the legends say the dragon god in the heavens took you away. Is it true? Yes, she replied, thinking, I've become a legend, haven't I? The child continued, Auntie, they say the dragon god is a magnificent flower dragon, and he took you to force you to bear him dragon children. Is that true too? Ningning froze. The little girls gasped. Auntie, did you really have dragon babies? How? Ningning was speechless. These little demons grow up so fast. And the rumors, even toddlers aren't spared. Little Black Bear scolded his 2 children. You rascals. Where did you hear such nonsense? I told you not to wander around and listen to gossip. Why don't you ever listen? The frightened children scampered away, crying, "We were wrong, Papa." Little Black Bear sighed and apologized to Ning Ning. "Master Ning Ning, I'm so sorry. Please forgive them. They're just children." She waved a hand dismissively. "It's all right. Children say silly things." Honestly, she muttered, gossip travels fast everywhere, but it seems especially rampant in the demon realm. One slip up, and rumors about me and that dragon have spread across all 3 realms. Suddenly, she remembered something. "By the way, where's Yili now? How is he?" Little Black Bear's face fell. "Master Ning Ning, you still care for him, don't you?" He said sadly. "Master Ning Ning, let's forget about Yili. What happened between you two can't be explained anymore. Just stay here in the city, and I'll take good care of you." Ning Ning stared at him, bewildered. "Can't be explained. What do you mean?" Little Black Bear explained. "Yili has changed so much these past few years. He travels everywhere, telling everyone that the dragon god stole his wife on their wedding night. He says that his beloved would rather break her teeth than submit, and that she tragically lost one to the dragon god. He keeps that broken tooth as a token of his love, waiting for her return." He added, "He says he'll wait forever, whether you return or not." He even renamed Ghost City to Waiting for Love City. Ning Ning was furious. That lying scoundrel, spreading such blatant lies. "I have to thank him for making me the subject of such ridiculous gossip." She demanded, "Where is this broken tooth now?" Yili keeps it enshrined in the Temple of Sacred Love in Waiting for Love City. They even charge admission to see it. Ning Ning immediately stood up. "I have to get that tooth back. I can't let him continue spreading these lies. That damn temple." She fumed. "I bit my tooth to poison him, not as some love token. And now he's twisted it into this." Suddenly, a voice called out from outside. "Who's there?" Could it be Ning Ning? But my Ning Ning could never return. Then, with a surge of joy, Ning Ning, you've really come back." He slowly walked towards her. Seeing him with a blindfold, she asked with concern, "Be careful. What happened to your eyes?" He put on a pitiful expression. "Si Ming Xingjuan took you away and blinded me," he lamented. He said, "I'll never be able to take another bride from the mortal realm. I'm trapped down here, forced to watch you and the immortals frolic in the heavens." He continued, his voice dripping with fabricated sorrow. He said that if you just see his face, you'll soften over time. Even if he's your enemy, you'll fall in love with him all over again. Ning Ning was enraged. "Nonsense," she snapped. "How could I possibly fall for Si Ming Xingjuan? I can tell the difference. Lin Yang is Lin Yang, and Si Ming Xingjuan is Si Ming Xingjuan. Let me tell you something. I've been in the Dragon God's palace for over 10 days, and nothing happened. How could that old stick-in-the-mud Lin Yang ever fall for a demon like me? This is serious," she said sternly, "but I'm not here to explain myself to you. Just give me back my broken tooth. Go back to being your city lord. From now on, we go our separate ways." She ripped off his blindfold. "And stop with this pathetic act. Do you think I'm stupid? If you're not blind, then why pretend? Are you crazy?" He retorted, his eyes now clearly visible. But suddenly, Ning Ning felt a strange weakness wash over her. "No, I've been tricked." She stumbled, falling into his arms. Her face paled. You drugged me." He smirked, a triumphant glint in his eyes. "After Si Ming Xingjuan descended to the mortal realm and lost his memory, he fell in love with you. I didn't believe it then, but now, if you lose your memory too, and I'm the only one by your side, day after day, wouldn't you fall in love with me, Yili?" he continued. "The old Ning Ning was wrong. I didn't appreciate you. We need a fresh start." She seethed. "You bastard. You truly are despicable." He held her tighter. "I know I'm a bit underhanded," he admitted, "but to keep you by my side, I'd do anything. Ning Ning, you're the knot in my heart, my destiny across 1,000 lifetimes. I believe I can spend countless more lifetimes making you a woman who loves only me." Meanwhile, in the 9 heavens, Lin Yang held a dragon scale hairpin. "Ever since I found this hairpin Ning Ning dropped, I've remembered everything," he murmured. "But sadly, she's already gone." A soldier entered, reporting, "Celestial Lord, according to our investigation, the demon Lord Tung Xe is currently hiding in Ghost City. The city has been renamed Waiting for Love City. Legend says that visiting Waiting for Love City guarantees a happy marriage in the next life. Many grieving souls have flocked to the city. We've also uncovered new information regarding the city's lord." Chuzhua chuckled. "So, the city lord of Ghost City, Yili, is the same rat who burned down the scripture pavilion all those years ago. I wondered where he'd disappeared to. I recall Buddha intending to bestow upon him the title of twin gods of heaven and earth. What a pity. He turned to leave. So, Yili recognized me long ago. Everything he's done is for revenge. He was once blessed by Buddha. A rash conclusion to this matter would be inconvenient. In Waiting for Love City, Lin Yong approached a group of children. "What are you little ones doing?" He asked. "Big brother, is this your first time here?" One child replied, "Today is the annual Waiting for Love festival. Everyone participates in the fire lighting ceremony to pray for blessings upon Waiting for Love City." Lin Yang inquired, "Blessings? For what?" The child explained, "Outside the city is the Waiting for Love abyss. Every year, the tide rises to its highest point. Everyone is afraid. We might not even live long enough to grow up and reincarnate before the city is destroyed. But our city lord told us not to worry. He'll patrol the city walls and check the defenses. He told us to just focus on preparing for the festival." Lin Yang looked at the small child. "You're so young. Why are you here?" The little girl replied, "I was abandoned by my parents long ago. If the city lord hadn't taken me in, I wouldn't even have the chance to come to the underworld and reincarnate. He said we can grow up here safely, and when we're old enough, we can go to the underworld and wait our turn for reincarnation. That way, we can trick those underworld officials." Lin Yang pondered. "I'd heard Yili had taken in many abandoned souls. I didn't realize it was true." The little girl continued. "He said only by accumulating good deeds for 9 generations can he earn enough merit. He's doing good deeds so his wife, Tang Exe, can be released soon. He said his wish is almost fulfilled. This year, the city lord's wife will lead us in the lighting ceremony." Just then, Ningning appeared. "Don't talk nonsense. What's city lord's wife? We're not married yet. We made a pact. He has to brew the 100 flowers nectar before he can marry me." She turned to Lin Yang. "What brings you here, young master? Are you also visiting these orphans?" He asked. "Don't you recognize me?" Confusion flickered across her face. "Should I? I kept wondering how you could fall for someone else so quickly," he said, a hint of sadness in his voice. "But now I understand. You don't remember me." Ningning's brow furrowed. "It's strange. I feel a sense of familiarity, like I've met you before. What was our relationship? Why does my heart ache when I look at you?" "I'm your devoted disciple," he exclaimed. "You're my master. You taught me not only about herbs, but also how to frequent brothels." Ningning looked at him incredulously. "How could that be?" He took her hand. "When I first came here, you took me around. Will you come with me now?" She hesitated. "Wait." Together, they ate candied hawthorns, visited a brothel, and tied ribbons to a wishing tree. Ningning felt a growing unease. "I've only ever been with a city lord, but why does this feel so right?" He presented her with a jade hairpin. "Ningning, if I can rely on this hairpin to restore your memories, I hope that when you see it, you'll remember something too." Suddenly, Yili appeared. "Si Ming Xingjuan. It's you again. Ningning, come back with me." "Don't believe anything he said." Ningning glared at them both. "I don't trust either of you." Lin Yang's face lit up. "Ningning, have you remembered?" He started to speak, but Yili panicked. "Ningning, the Celestials are everywhere, searching for you. If you stay with me, I'll protect you with my life." She retorted, "Why didn't you say something so touching before? Why did you use dark magic to control me? You knew I wouldn't stay, didn't you?" He raged, "So what? No matter how harshly Si Ming Xingjuan treated you in the heavens, you still want to leave with him, don't you?" Ningning, "I envy how gently Lin Yang treats him. I'm jealous. I can't stand it anymore." Lin Yang stepped forward. "Release her, or you'll face the consequences." Yili's eyes flashed with dark energy. "Fine. If you insist on challenging me, then let's settle the score." Ningning cried out, "Wait." A torrent of water surged into the city. The Xianshui River is flooding the city. "Yili, what kind of defenses are these? If Waiting for Love City sinks, what will happen to the children?" He stammered, "Impossible. I used a triple-layered protective seal on the city gates." "How?" Lin Yang said, "Let me help." But Yili refused. "Si Ming Xingjuan, don't act so righteous. Waiting for Love City doesn't need your concern." The water continued to rise. Lin Yang cursed under his breath. "Damn it, Si Ming Xingjuan. If this continues, the entire city will be in chaos." Yili declared, "I want Waiting for Love City to be free from the Xianshui River's threat forever. Do you, a high celestial lord, dare to gamble with me?" He replied, "This lord agrees. This place is too cramped. It hinders this lord's ability to fully utilize my power." The two joined forces, pushing back against the surging water. Su Zhao exclaimed, "Oh, this is the legendary sand-shifting formation of the celestial dragon. How fortunate I am. I never thought I'd witness them working together." Qing'er appeared. Yili, by order of the Celestial Empress, I am here today to bury you and Tung Xe beneath the Eastern Emperor Bell. He roared. It was you. You sabotaged the city gates, didn't you? Don't deny it. You're using your official position for personal revenge. She raged. So what if I did? Ningning is mine. Even if I can't destroy this ghost city, I will make you bleed. She unleashed a torrent of magic towards Ningning. She screamed, Ningning, I want you to remember me forever. But Yili rushed forward, shielding Ningning from the attack. Ningning could only cry out, Yili. He whispered, don't pity me. No aging, no death. I waited 1,000 years. This is good. Qing'er shrieked, what are you waiting for? Ximing, Xingjuan, and that demon have been lured out. If you don't kill Tung Xe now, when will you? Suddenly, Lin Yang stood protectively in front of Ningning. Who dares touch her? She is my wife. Anyone who lays a finger on her will have to answer to me. The Celestial Emperor spoke in astonishment. Lin Yang, my brother, have you finally reached this point? You would defy the entire Celestial Court for a mere demon. Tung Xe stepped forward. It's my fault. I corrupted your Celestial Lord. This ancient Celestial has been tainted by me. So, if you want to beat someone to a pulp or punish someone, come after me. Before she could finish, Lin Yang struck her, rendering her unconscious. He looked at Ningning. Ningning, if there's a next life, let's marry sooner. In the Jiangnan courtyard, Ningning awoke in Lin Yang's arms. Awake, she murmured. She looked around in surprise. Why am I not imprisoned in the celestial prison? You went through all that trouble to go to Waiting for Love's city, wasn't it, to capture me? He said, I told you to come with me. You didn't listen. I couldn't just stand by and watch you die. I had to help you defend the city. Tears welled in her eyes. You're Lin Yang. Don't lie to me. Lin Yang died a long time ago. He spoke gently. You dropped your dragon scale hairpin in my celestial abode. I found it, and I recovered the memories of our time together. He embraced her. Ningning, I cherish this feeling of having you back after losing you. Promise me we won't be separated again. She said, you're so cruel. She cupped his face. So, are we all right now? He replied with a joyful smile. We're alive, yes. But we disregarded the Celestial Emperor's schemes and were ultimately pushed off the Zhuxian Terrace. Her eyes widened in horror. The Zhuxian Terrace. Isn't that where even Celestials are torn to shreds? What would happen to you? He answered, exactly. I'm no longer a Celestial. Now I'm just a wild dragon. Ningning, do you despise me? She clung to him. No, of course not. Why would you do that? It wasn't worth it. She held him tightly. Who says it wasn't worth it? I say it was. Outside, little Black Bear felt utterly lost. Should I go in? If I don't, the medicine will get cold. But if I do, it doesn't seem like a good time. 1 year later, an adorable baby was born. My dragon god, you work fast. You and Tang Xe already have a child. He grumbled. What are you doing here again? You're so annoying. Su Zhao continued. Have you forgotten? The Celestial Emperor is your brother. To let you live peacefully with Tung Xe and appease the Celestial Empress, he staged a play. It wasn't a punishment to the mortal realm, just a vacation. A vacation. After all, you did beat Hua Xian, the Celestial Empress's favorite, back to her original form. The Celestial Emperor had to save face somehow. He placed a stack of scrolls on the table. Ningning flung the door open. You tricked me. Lin Yang paled. Ningning, let me explain. I've suspected you for a while now, she retorted. I wasn't thinking clearly before. If you weren't the dragon god anymore, why did people keep coming to see you, hiding their celestial auras and pretending to be mortals? Did you think I was stupid? Su Zhao yelled, Tung Xe, don't be ungrateful. The dragon god moved all his work here to the mortal realm for you. What more do you want? You're utterly spoiled. Before he could finish, Lin Yang shooed him out. Lin Yang coaxed her. I did it all for you, for Yuanger, for our family. Don't be angry anymore. 3 years later, Yuanger tugged on Ningning's robe. Mother, why do you keep feeding the mouse? Ningning sighed. Your mother owes him a debt I don't know how to repay. This is all I can do. She continued, I wonder if Buddha has forgiven Yili. He's been reincarnated into a life of wealth and honor this time around. Yuanger placed some food on the grass. Here's some food for you, brother. Why don't you go see Mother? She thinks you're dead. Yili fumed. See her. Buddha banished me to the purple bamboo forest for 3 days, and she gave birth in that time. I won't see such a heartless woman. Yuanger replied, but you like me, don't you? How do you know I like you? What do you mean, like? Show some respect. Call me Marshal Uncle. Ningning called out, searching for the child. Yuangia, where have you run off to again? Suddenly, Lin Yang swept Ningning into his arms. What are you doing? She exclaimed. In broad daylight. What do you think you're doing? He chuckled. Guess. She laughed. "Dragon God, tell me, am I a femme fatale?" He replied, "Why would you even ask that?" She pressed on, "I'm just asking, am I beautiful?" He held her close. "Beautiful? So beautiful I can't let you go." Today's episode has come to an end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel, so I'll have the motivation to continue.